Alright, see? There we go. That quick. That quick and easy. Yeah, lost all the fizziness in this drink, but it is what it is. Alright, just keep giving me an extra second. Source is busy in another application. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. All right, perfect. And activate. Perfect. Hi. Hi, you can see my face now. Hello. Hi, hello. How are you? Woo. Wow. Hello. All right, we just got done selling a bunch of Bloomborough packs and collector booster packs, which is quite awesome. People open some really spicy things. Really spicy things. Hugs and roses, good to see you. Hello. I just want to thank all of you for like all of those who have been like kind of taking more and more part of the Discord. Thank you so much. Really just appreciate y'all doing that for and with me. That's just incredibly cool of you. All right. I need to go through my own decks firstly and make sure that they're updated. I think that's something I might do tomorrow. Just do like a big like Moxfield update day. You know what I mean? Because like, whew, my decks are not completely updated and they need to be. Your Discord update is very nice as well, very organized. Thank you. I hope it's not too much. Like, I know obviously like now the Discord's like you gotta like scroll down to find things, but I'm hoping that like people can kind of collapse and uncollapse things that they do or don't want to like pay attention to. But yeah. All right, chat. Let's heck in. Man, I really do want to update my decks. We'll do that. We'll have a day of that, just like a big Moxfield update day. But for now, we're just doing deck reviews. So, deck reviews. All right, where did I? All right, so we went all the way here. Dapper Turtles, the next one. All right. Okay, so let's see. So let me make sure I have everything ready to go. So we have. There's a lot of channels, but they can all. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I hope it's not too daunting for people. I have a tendency to definitely like overboard sometimes. All right. All right. Where are we going now? All right. I think we're good to go. Music's going. Chat's ready. Chat, y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I think I'm ready. I'm ready to review some things. All right, so first up is Dapper Turtle. So let me make sure. I also need to make sure I order food at some point. Yeah. Dapper Turtle, and they're playing Slime, Foot, and Squee. All right. Okay, chat. Here we go. Let's start this off. I need my extra window for when I have card recommendations. Yes. Card recs right here. All right. I'm ready, chat. I can do this. There's not enough room on any screen. Okay. So, this is Dapper Turtle's Slimefoot and Squee Reanimator combo. On the Discord, they say this is a deck they play at a local two-headed giant tournament. It's designed to be able to get an infinite loop in multiple ways and be very resilient against different pieces being removed. The main combo loop is having a sack outlet, such as Phyrexian Altar or Viscera Seer, a way to generate mana off of sacrificing, such as Sprouting Theranax. Okay, yeah. The deck that kills an opponent with cards such as Zealport, Cutthroat, and Blasting Station. Okay, yeah. All right, this makes sense. So this is Aristocrats. This is Jund Aristocrats in just about every way, shape, or form, which is completely reasonable. Oh, they already got like the first card I was going to suggest. Okay, all right, Dapper Turtle. Let's see what we got here. So, Slimefoot and Squee. Yes, I also need to make sure I have an extra window open over here. JDX, good to see you. Need an extra card open here. Oops. That's on scryfall.com. There we go. Plumber Sam 2024 was great. I hope you're happy. Kuro, your stream is distracting me from working on music. Oh my gosh. My stream distracting? That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I hope that you enjoy SummerSlam 2024, and also I hope that you make some music, and I hope that you share some of that music in the Discord. All right. Slimefoot and Squee. Slimefoot and Squee, chat. Okay. Jund, 3/3, legendary creature, fungus, goblin. Whenever Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. You can pay 1 in Jund, sacrifice a sapling, return Slimefoot and Squee, and up to 1 other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so that's like pretty strong. Just right off the bat, right? So this is like literally... It's such a weird commander. So like ETB, 3 mana you make a sapling, right? Your commander can be the only thing in the entire deck that even makes or cares about saplings, right? You don't really need to generate more saplings throughout the course of the game. Maybe just like, maybe 1 or 2 other, like, if there's like an enchantment or an artifact that makes it, that would be fine. But yeah, as long as just you cast Slimefoot and Squee, you just sacrifice any sapling, and then you just bring Slimefoot and Squee and another full card back, which is kind of wild, honestly. That is just, there's no restriction on a creature in the grave that you get. It's not like creature with power 3 or less, or power equal to the number of saplings you have, or anything like that. It's just bring another creature back. That's wild. Okay. So, Will You Want You? Thank you very much for the resub. She Slime on Foot Till I Squee. That sound is whatever you want to make of it. Thank you very much, Will You Want You? Appreciate the prime sub. Alright, so let's start it off. Birds of Paradise, obviously really good. Blood Artist, really good. Burning Tree Emissary, ETB, make a red and a green. I wonder if this is part of maybe a combo of some kind. Being able to red and green Burning Tree back. Slimefoot and Squee might be pretty cool. Chatterfang, Squirrel General. Whenever you would make a sapling token, you make also a squirrel token. Interesting. Dark, Dockside Extortionist, yeah. Drivnod, creature dying will trigger, yep. Elvish Visionary, ETB draw a card, perfectly fine. E-Witness, Gitaxian's Puppeteer, draw your second card, each player loses 2 life, and you gain 2. Dies, return another target creature mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Right, yeah, so if Slimefoot and Scree is in your graveyard, and Gitaxian Puppeteer dies, or actually, you know what? If both of them are on the field at the same time, okay? If Gitaxian Puppeteer and Slimefoot and Squee are out at the same time, and there's like a board wipe, Slimefoot and Squee can go to the graveyard as with Gitaxian Puppeteer, and then you can just use Gitaxian Puppeteer to return Slimefoot and Squee back from the graveyard. It's actually pretty cool. Can I send the deck in for review? Yes, Trash Lad, in the Discord, which you can find in the panels down below. In the Discord, there's a room called Kuro Hitsuki Deck Reviews, and that is where you will drop your deck reviews off. All I need is a brief paragraph, or just a couple sentences telling me what you want your deck to do, so that I can give you advice based on what you want your deck to do, not just like, advice on how to make like the perfect deck. Grim Servant enters the battlefield from your search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to the Ocean Vat, put into your hand and shuffle, you lose 3. Okay. Haywire Might, one of the best cards I've ever made. Honest Rutstein, yep. Noble Hierarch, yep. Or Ignoble. Pitiless Plunderer, that's definitely one way to keep it going. Prosperous Innkeeper, yep. Protean Hulk. Yeah, that's... Is there a Protean Hulk combo in here? I'm not seeing one in particular. Not specifically, although I guess, Sack Outlet? There might be a Protean Hulk combo in here, I'm just not seeing it. Rift Sweeper, ETB, return the Face of Exile card that owner's control to its library. Oh, for the fine... No, yeah, I wonder why. 6, whenever... 6 attacks, mill 3 cards, put a land from one of them to your hand. When it's your turn, you can cast cards from your graveyard with Retrace, Spore Frog, Sprouting Thrainax. When it dies, create 3 Saprolings. Yep, it's completely fair to just have like 1 card that makes Saprolings, That's like perfectly fine. And then Symbiotic Elf, put into the graveyard, make 2 green insect creature tokens. That... Something tells me this got eroded, you know what I mean? Huh. No. Just 2 insect tokens, huh? Okay, well. Of course I misplaced the O. Yeah, huh, okay. That's weird. That's a weird card. Alright, I wonder what that's for. Alright, and then Vile Entomber. It's more of a value Hulk. Yeah, it looks like more of a value Hulk Dapper Tier. Okay, good to see. Alright, good to see as well. Vile Entomber, Viscera Seer, Warren Soul Trader was the first card I was going to suggest. Zulaport Cutthroat. Yep, makes sense. Beseech the Mirror, Cathartic Reunion, Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, Dread Return, Eldritch Evolution, Faith Soothing, Farseek, Fair Parting, Fair Parting, putting any 2 cards into your graveyard, like 1 into your hand, the other to the graveyard. That's perfect for the abilities. Lively Dirge, search your library for a card and put it into your graveyard, then shuffle, and then also you can reanimate some stuff. Probably, reanimating Warren Soul Trader on the Viscera Seer is kind of baller. Living Death, of course. Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. Reanimate, Scheming Symmetry. I hate this card so much. But, this card to get you what you want. Threats Undetected. 4 different creature cards, different powers. Reveal them. Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3... 4. Like, there's a lot, too. Yeah. There's a lot. And then Victimize, obviously, a really good card. Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Beast Within, Core of the Calling, Crop Rotation, Dark Ritual, Deadly Dispute, Pyroblast, Saw in Half, Tear Asunder, Veil of Summer, Worldly Tutor. I mean, these are like beautifully perfect Jund instants, like in all ways, shape, or form. Yep. Arcane Signet, Ashnod's Altar. Scheming Symmetry is a card that came from playing Two-Headed Giant, as I can pick me and my partner. True. I think you said something about Two-Headed Giant in the post. Ashnod's Altar, Chrome Mox, Collector's Vault. Draw a card and discard the card. Create a treasure token that allows you to get a creature back from the dead. Felwar Stone, Lightning Greaves, Mana Crypt. Yeah, Phyrexian Altar, Skull Clamp, and Soul Ring. Yeah, that sounds about right, especially for sacrificing creatures for mana. Cathalian Nightmare. Enters the battlefield, get 3 energy, pay X energy, sacrifice a creature, return it to its owner's hand. Return target creature mana value X, unless from your graveyard to the battlefield. What a weird card. What a very strange card. I'm sure you can go infinite money mana with this somehow too. Especially if you do like if you do the Symbiotic Elf, you can like bring it back. No, you need to gain like 1 more energy though. For that in particular. But certainly with Sprouting Thrainax, right? 3 mana. Pay 2 Warren Soul Trader, sacrifice mana. Yeah. Who would have thought that the Nightmare card would be good? Goblin Bombardment, and then Insidious Roots. Creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Very, very nice. Whenever 1 or more creatures leave your graveyard, make a green plant creature token. Then put a +1/+1 counter on each plant you control, and boy howdy, you will be able to get there with rats. Or sorry, with the plant tokens. Because you're just going to have that many cards leaving your graveyard. That's actually really, really cool. 33 lands is really decent. Just Farseek, yeah? And crop rotation? Any particularly amazing lands? I mean, I would suggest probably more ramp, just like a little bit, right? Just as a treat to yourself, right? Because I'm not seeing a lot of these, right? Like I'm not seeing a lot of the Farseeks and Sylvan Tutors and just those other things. So it's like, those can almost be just as good as like an Arcane Signet or Felwar Stone for sure, right? But Dripknot doubling death triggers. I believe that there's definitely more. I think there's definitely more cards that can go in here. If you want to do creature, you have good removal with the Abrupt Decays and the Beast Withins. You do have decent removal. But if you want to do more creature-based removal, like just have creatures that you can kind of resurrect and get kills with. Definitely the new Grim Busher, or Grizzly Busher, the Accursed Marauder. I think that's something that I would suggest. Oh, that's also all right. I like these two. So I'm suggesting because I like that the deck doesn't go super heavy on the Saprolings, because the Saprolings themselves are not like necessarily the focus of the deck, but they are like, they're helpful cards clearly. And I like that Sprouting Thrainax is here, and they just made the brand new Infested Thrainax. So it costs like 1 less red, but it costs three more. But like 5 mana 4/4 with flash, and the flash part is what like does it for me. When it enters the battlefield until end of turn, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a number of Saprolings equal to that creature's power. So being able, personally, I think, to, in response to a board wipe, flash on in the Infested Thrainax to just be like, okay, you're wiping my board? Cool, I'm going to get like 12 Saprolings off of it. And my commander's going to let me get stuff back from the graveyard pretty easily. Yeah, that's like my first wreck. And then, yeah, the other Saproling commander, the Primeval Titan, Namada. Fool. Namada Primeval Warden. So 2 in a black-green legendary creature tree folk 3/4 with reach, and reach is good. If a creature an opponent controlled would die, exile it instead, and that like passively that does a lot of work for you. Although Blood Artist, never mind. You don't want to exile your opponent's things. But you do get saplings out of it, but that's not really what we want here. Oh, yeah. You know, I know that you're not doing a lot of, you know, if you want to do... I mean, why not do the original Slimefoot? Right? Like, if you're doing this kind of, if you're kind of doing this aristocratic thing, why not even double down harder on the themes of, like, you know, like, I know Saplings aren't big in the deck, right? It's not the be-all end-all by any stretch of the imagination. It just, like, happens to work with your commander. But, like, what if also, on top of it, whenever those Saplings died, it also did the pain and drain, right? That the deck is already kind of doing. Why not do both? That's kind of like where I'm at on it. That's definitely what I'm thinking here. Same thing with like Sir Conrad the Grim as well. That kind of just... That's creatures entering and leaving the graveyard, still kind of triggering everything this deck is trying to do. I do find this a rather creature-based deck. So I think most of my recommendations are going to be creatures, which, I mean, yeah, I think that's completely reasonable. Sir Conrad the Grim. I'm honestly glad that they've never like made a new Sir Conrad card. It would just be objectively more disappointing than the original. Pitiless Plunderer, you got already. Mirkwood Bats, also pain and drains when you make tokens. But your deck doesn't necessarily do that often. Like, I know Dockside does and Chatterfang does, but Chatterfang only does it when you're already making tokens with something else. If one or more tokens, yeah. Yeah. Dockside is, I mean, obviously good. I'm not gonna say to take that out. Dockside is just a really good card. And there's just a lot of different ways that you could go with this. I guess I really want to know, like, what ways have you chose not to go, if that makes a little bit more sense. Because, like, it seems like you've definitely, you see what this deck wants to do. And I imagine that you already know that there's a lot of ways to do it. So what made you not settle, but like what made you collapse on these cards specifically over, say, like a Sir Conrad the Grim, right? Like, why is Sir Conrad not already in here? I think that's what I would like to know. Draw power. You have tutors in here. Cathartic Union does put stuff in the graveyard. Faithful Soothing puts stuff in the graveyard. Back to Heart from the graveyard. You do have Court of Calling. I mean, if Slimefoot cares about Saplings, you could toss in a Massive Nexus for a conspiracy to make things Saplings too. Sir Conrad felt like too much mana compared to something like Zulaport or Cut. Or yeah, that's completely fair. Like, he is 5 mana. It's just that he does the work that a Zulaport and a Blood Artist do, like, worth 5 mana worth of, right? Like, he does stuff when creatures die, and also, I'm so sorry, when things come back from the graveyard too, right? The life gain is also really nice with the Soul Trader. That's true. Yeah, the Soul Trader does make you lose life for sure. But that's completely fair, Tapaturtha. So you want to do pain and drain. Your goal is to also gain life on top of people like getting dealt, you know, losing life. Which, okay, sure. So if we stick in that theme, because Conrad I know doesn't do that. I think Slimefoot themselves, like the OG, definitely fits your theme of creatures. Because I think Slimefoot heals you as well. You do like a little bit of a self-mill thing with like 6, but not really anything else. And just creatures dying, which is still pretty good. What's the recommendation here? You're doing the things. The main goal is to keep the deck incredibly resilient to combo pieces being removed and having a lot of redundancy. And having a commander that can resurrect its creatures from the grave is redundancy. Like super, like that is Jund redundancy for sure. Other than just, you know, player removal, honestly. You don't have like a do you have artifact enchant removal? Like I know you have Maelstrom Pulse. Redundancy. Wow. Wow, that goes crazy. Okay. Redundancy. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, Insidious Roots is a really good card here. You love it. I wonder if Elven Chorus could also do like the same thing. Like Elven Chorus lets you look at the top card of your deck. You get to play creatures from the top, and your creatures, like all of your creatures, not just the tokens, but all of your creatures can tap for mana. And I feel that's like probably pretty good for what a deck that is as Jundy as this wants to do, right? You have a Skull Prophet in here for mana. Hey Fats, just played a few games at LGS, won a raffle for a promo pack that had a Liliana the Veil. Also, Bria popped off twice. Pretty dope so far. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, Fats. Yeah, you love it? Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of about it. Like, you get to... Because your deck already has, like, the pick of the litter of cards in the graveyard, but what about, like, also continuing to, like, cast cards from the top? I'm kind of, like, feeling Skull Prophet as well. I guess in terms of, like, tutoring. Disciple of Freyalise. Is that in here? No, it's a modal land. Disciple of Freyalise lets you sack a creature, draw cards equal to its power, and gain that much life. There's so many options. There's a lot of options in how you can go here, to be honest with you. Like Deflecting Swat obviously is like great. Bitter Triumph at least like lets you sacrifice a creature to draw you 2 cards. I know you have. Let's do. I'm gonna say for like the last sort of like card to recommend is having like, I mean not having, but like Convoke is a good mechanic, right? Convoke is a good mechanic that you kind of always have access to. I would say that my last thing to add was like a little bit more like single target removal. Mainly so that you don't have to use Assassin's Trophy and Abrupt Decrees on creatures. You can use them instead on like the artifacts and enchantments that are like absolutely stopping you. Hey, you hate me when I cards. Honestly, me when I open Magic the Gathering cards. Thank you very much for the resub, bud. Big appreciation, friend, as always. I'm kind of thinking pile on, because not only do you get to kill any creature, arguably at like, you know, instant speed, and your opponents can't really do much about it. You have you also have the ability to surveil. Surveil is also surveil is also huge. Surveil is also huge. There's a lot you can do with this deck, Dapper Turtle. I think my immediate recommendations are just going to be like, so here's one card that like on death that you can trick people with, right? On death, this makes a bunch of Saproling, so like lets you kind of keep the train going. The next is like a Curse Marauder, being able to tell everyone to sacrifice a creature while you're sitting here looking pretty with all the creatures in the world that are worthy of being sacrificed. And I wonder, try Soul Shatter, super efficient. I would try yeah, Soul Shatter's not bad. Pile On is just like a free spell though. That's why I'm kind of like recommending it, because it's a free spell, as like it's, as long as they're doing what their deck is trying to do, then, you know, free spell. Soul Shatter is good. I just don't know if it's better than the whatever card I suggested. Oh, then yeah, then Pile On for sure. Your sorceries are honestly pretty perfect. I don't really know what more can be added there. Personally, I do hate Scheming Symmetry, because the person who gets it is always like getting something extra mega spicy and scary. But we just have to deal with it. I think this deck is honestly pretty, like, I don't want to use the word perfect so flippantly, but like, it's kind of really great. No issues seen here. Yeah. Yeah. And then Rift Sweeper. Yeah. That's about it. That's about it. I don't think there's a better Aristocrat. They haven't made like a new Aristocrat specifically, right? The Warren Soul Trader is a good sacrifice outlet, but they haven't made an Aristocrat that says like, oh, deal 2 damage every time someone dies or anything like that. Drivnod kind of doesn't always trigger on everything, which is a little bit of a concern, but I think we'll be fine. The thing is with this deck is if I start getting 4+ creatures on the board and aren't going infinite, something has gone wrong usually. I would agree with that, actually. Yes, they have. Vein Ripper. True, Willer, won't you? Very true. Yeah, Vein Ripper is kind of huge here. Now, if the excuse not to use Vein Ripper is just like it's too expensive and I don't have the money for it, 100%. Like say less. Say less. I got no defense against that. Not good here, but it exists. It does exist, and it could easily be good here. Being able to pain and drain people for 2 versus 1 is obviously really strong. Although, actually, is there not a new talent that just came out that what's the black talent do? I just bought one. Scavenger's talent. But no, price doesn't seem to be an issue here considering some of these cards. Well, no, Willer, won't you? So one of the main reasons why I don't do budget builds or like give a budget on my recommendations is because, especially with the way I play Commander, I mean, yeah, I can have expensive cards, but I opened those cards like years ago, I traded when they were not the price that they were now. I just spent $4 on a pack and I opened it, that sort of thing. So, like, it could still be like, you know, a consideration. I don't own a Vein Ripper. I'm not buying one either. I'm not buying a Vein Ripper. That shit's $20. Nah. No, I will be getting a Vein Ripper somehow, some way, eventually. You've opened pretty much all these cards. Yeah, good for you on that. But I'm gonna go for actually Scavenger's Talent. Scavenger's Talents is actually going to be a card that I recommend. And you know what? I'm going to recommend that over the Accursed Marauder. Because I feel like the Accursed Marauder is a little too, like, obvious, right? But this one's actually pretty spicy, I think. So level 1, whenever one or more creatures you control die, make a food token. It only triggers once per turn. Fine, whatever, you know. But then 1 in the black. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. That could be you searching for something in your graveyard to get, you know? That's really strong. The only cards I brought are altars, yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually on the Scavenger's Talent train. And I think, like, honestly, with those, you'd be just, like, slightly more ahead than you already are now. Dapper Turtle. I truly believe that your deck is already perfect, basically. So here's like a couple new spicy picks that might just help a little bit more. That's really what this review is. So to cap it all off, Dapper Turtle, your Slimefoot and Squee. Commander deck here. My recommendations are the Thrainax here. In order to get surprise your opponents with a bunch of Saprolings, maybe like post the board wipe or something. The Scavenger's Talent, mainly so that you can get to level 2, and then whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. I mean, you can mill your own self so that you can resurrect these creatures from the graveyard with Slimefoot's help. Next is the Pile On. I feel as though having creatures and tokens be able to tap for removal at instant speed is almost just as good as the instant speed Deadly Rollick, because this one also surveils. Elven Chorus is the next one. I like that one because, again, you have quite a couple creatures who aren't necessarily doing anything, and they can just get more money for me. That's about it. The Elven Council is just more money, or sorry, more mana, mana, more mana, so that you can cast spells from the top of your deck, and then also sacrifice those creatures afterwards to a Warren Soul Trader or something like that. And then the last option is Squee, because you do sacrifice Saprolings, and Squee Pain and Drains when you do that. So I'm just like, why not put a couple more Saproling cards in here? And then you can just really have like the best of both worlds. A nice Reanimator package as well as Saprolings everywhere. That's all. That is all. Those are my recommendations. I don't know what to take out, because again, I think your list is actually really tight. Maybe skimming some of a straight. Thank you. It's always nice to get more opinions on stuff. I played the 2-headed giant tournament with it twice now. Partly with Mono Blue, Thassa Control, and I've had some. You've gone second both times. Only losing the Brea combo, Murktide or Marika Rebereat Control. Oh god, that sounds awful. I'm so sorry. Yikes. Yikers. All right. Paint cans. You have another deck here. Oh no, we did Voja. Okay, I only skipped a little bit. Although King Wispy, you're actually next. Hey, Trash Lad, thank you very much for the follow, but I appreciate it. Oh, actually no, thank you very much for the Prime subscription. Really appreciate that. Super much, friend. Thank you. All right, so this is King Wispy's Veto, Iterant Scholar. I'll actually be right back, chat. King Wispy. King Wispy, Volo, Itinerant Scholar, and Popular Enter. Hmm. All right. So this is Volo, itinerant internet scholar, internet historian. So let's see what the description is here. This is Izzet all creatures. This deck features 39 lands, 60 creatures, and a pair of commanders. The idea to win is through drawing out your deck and ending in a Labman. You can also win through Trista Decaphile, though we often draw too many cards, we have to be realistic. If all else fails, we can swing our creatures to win, since our side's goads are getting our creatures low, looking for thoughts on possible cuts. Since it also, looking for thoughts on ads, since the deck seems obviously low on interaction, since they all are creatures. Well, there's a lot of creatures that ETB and get rid of things though, so it's like pretty fine, pretty common happenstance, to be honest with you. All right, you use your Basil bucks. Yeah, use your Basil bucks to pay me the Basil bucks. All right, Popular Entertainer, Volo. These are all. So Volo is 2 in a blue, 2/3. Legendary creature, Human Wizard, not a bard. Okay. Whenever Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact with hexproof. And whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of the creature types that hasn't been played with this artifact out. Tap 2 and draw. Draw a card for each unique counter. Sorry, draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. This is like a really weird card. Like, obviously they entered the chat with Volo saying we want to make Volo's Journal, Volo's Guide to Everything, right? People love that set. We gotta meme it. We have to meme it. And we'll make him like tutor up a book. I've never seen Volo do the thing. So I look forward to seeing this one. I would love to like actually see it in action one of these times. Although quickly, chat, before we go in there, I do need to be right back really fast because I need quick energy boost. So I'll be right back. Don't go too far. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna finish going over this Volo. Also, yeah, I'll go after it in just a second. So I'll be the quickest of backs, chat. But Volo, ETB, Volo's Journal, legendary creature. There's a legendary colorless artifact. Draw a card for each card named on the journal. And Popular Entertainer, commander creatures you control have whenever one or more creatures attack you control, deal combat damage player. Go target creature that player controls. I feel like there's. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, now that I look at it, these cards are really strong. Cards are real strong. Card's actually really strong. Okay. Almond Hawker. Oh, I see. Untap it, draw cards for a lot. Okay, meh. Do you have Splendid Reclamation or some sort of effect like that to bring back all the cards? Even the Crucible of Worlds would be pretty good. Isn't Brunaclad kind of combo stopper, as it would turn the guide into a copy of whatever he does? No, Brunaclad lets you turn all of your tokens into any copy of a token you control. Isn't Brunaclad kind of combo Brunaclad? Yeah, no. you make a mirror, and then you can turn any of your, or like all of your tokens into another token you control, which could be a 2/1 mirror, or it could not be, whichever one. But Brunaclad at least makes tokens have haste, and that's something to be cool with Volo for. Yeah. Let me go to the bathroom really fast. Just take a look at this list right quick, and I'll be right back, okay, chat? I'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. I also gotta order food. Okay, chat, we're back. Sorry about that. Had to get some Zelda-esque-ness in me. The energy was dying. The vibes were off. All right. I don't need the music on. I don't need music in my ears. Alright, so let's go over this. So, Volo, this deck wants you, whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of the creature types that wasn't named on the artifact, and then draw cards based on it. And then whenever creatures you control deal combat damage to play, they goad, and then the goading is creeps line. You just want to, is it all creatures? Draw cards, goad. Okay, so the first thing I want to make sure we have. Oh, I know. It's all creatures though. Damn it. So there is one card for goad decks, chat. That it's from Murders at Karlov Manor. It's like High Pursuit or something like that. It's kind of like a whatever card, but it's for goad decks where if you are down to the last player, goaded creatures like still can't attack you or something like kind of really specific like that. And you know, that's kind of like worth looking at. For a deck like this that's trying to do goad stuff, but not really, at least you have creatures. You do have creatures that can actually block and kill, like, the last person as they're alive. So that's not, like, the worst thing in the world. That's not, like, the worst thing in the world. I can't think of that card, but it's also an enchantment, so it doesn't fit the creature theme. How many lands is this? 20, 30, 38 lands? Right, because you don't have any mana dorks. Yeah, no, you need a lot of lands. Sounds like a blue spell. It's an enchantment. It's a red enchantment. and Goad is mostly like a red mechanic. Like it's mainly in red, and then like splashes and other things. But specifically, yeah, it's just like high pursuit. Hot pursuit per. Am I right? Oh, Hot Pursuit. Thank you. My Go deck is Rakdos. Yeah, well, red and black. Yep. So Hot Pursuit. Yeah, when it enters the battlefield, suspect target creature and opponent controls. As long as Hot Pursuit remains on the battlefield, let's go. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if 2 or more players have lost the game, gain control of all goaded and or suspended creatures until end of turn. Untap them, then gain haste. Right. So that's what this is for. That's what Hot Pursuit is. Whereas once you have, like, you know, once it's just down between you and one other player, you are now going to win because you just take control of all goaded creatures and kill, right? So that's what this is for. Okay. Let's see. Baloth, obviously giving goad, Body of Knowledge. Avatar. Okay, yeah, we got. I'm not gonna say let's keep track of each creature type, but like, okay, Elf for Shaman, Avatar, Phyrexian Artificer, Wraith, Cephalid Rogue, Elemental Hound, Squid Horror. Having like double creature type things makes this a little harder, but untap target permanent not named Clever. Oh, yeah, I guess you could tap Volo again. That's not bad. Gnome Wizard. Bird Wizard. So yeah, it's like, you know, you get, and even Human Wizard, you do get tripped up a bit. You do get tripped up a little bit. Oh, one of its creature type. Oh, that's interesting. One of its creature types. Oh, well, that's. Huh. That's actually really cool. Okay. Oh, that opens up a lot. Then, yeah, no, one of its creature types. So yeah, gnome, bird, Kavu instead of Phyrexian if you want. Spell Shaper. Discard counter. Oh, discard the card from your hand. Counter target spell or ability that targets a creature. I don't really like that card that much, but Shaman maybe, Tyrannid. So. Giant Bard is good. So what are we doing with... I know you said this is a Go deck. Win through drawing out or ending with Lab Man. Or Tristadecaphile. Or swing with creatures with Goad. Okay, so this is trying to do a lot. I guess you just want Volo. You're trying to make Volo be able to draw you a bunch of cards off of having played a bunch of cards and having a full journal. Now I'm getting it. Okay. Okay. I see what I see here. Okay. So I guess you just want to keep making sure you have creatures that are goading, and I guess that's it, right? If we're decking out, then Thassa... Right, I mean, like, you should have Thoracle in here. Because, like, I mean, listen, the moment they kill Jason... whatchamacallit? Lab Maniac. Like, people are gonna... Like, because the thing is, right, like... People, you're gonna have to play a Lab Maniac and then draw 20 cards with Volo, right? Like, people are going to see you put Lab Maniac into play right before you then draw the rest of your deck with Volo from a mile away, right? Like, they're gonna see that. Because you're not running any instants and sorceries or whatever, there's no cards that are just like, you know, draw 20 cards, put a creature from that top 20 into play, so then you can kind of like, you know, finagle a win out of having no cards and all of that stuff. Like, that's not in here. You're not running Jace because it's not a creature. So it's like, yeah, you specifically need as many versions of Labman as you can, and uh, uh, that's, you know, that's a little difficult. Um, yeah. So Thassa's Oracle has to be in here. You honestly need to have it in here. Um, yeah. Is it? Oh, well, we are in blue red. Is there any I'm on tiny screen here. Are we team or is it? Is it? Yeah. No primal surge then. That's also good. Yeah. Well, no, they're doing creature only, so this is like a creature only deck because their goal is to make Volo's journal, the Volo's guide to everything, right? Be like why you're winning, which is cute. I honestly love it. I truly do love it. I like this idea. So Volo's guide to everything is what's going to make you win because Volo went around the world, found a bunch of creatures, filled his Pokédex, drew you a million cards, and you won because you have a bigger brain. That's actually really cute. I actually really do like this. This is actually really adorable and a popular entertainer and all that stuff. So like that's cute. How can we make sure that we win with that if it's creatures only? That Volo. Volo himself is Simic. Right. Volo himself is Simic. This one is specifically the mono blue Volo, but the one that chooses a background. So it could still be Simic if you so chose. There's a bunch of different creature types, clearly. I mean, Glenelendra is just like good from Beyond Before Food to give haste. Let's see. They're clearly doing a lot of like, yeah, untap. There's some untapped stuff in here so that you can keep on so you can like Volo multiple times, which is cool. You need to be able to give. Oh, Nero Wild Mage lets you cast a Jace's Archivist. You track down that you casted a Vidalkin, then you exile it or whatever, and then you like cascade into a beast, and then you mark down beast actually, right? Because whenever you cast a creature spell, so that's cute. I like that. That's well thought out. You need some Purphoros. Does Purphoros really work here? I don't think so. I don't think Purphoros does anything here. Not this Purphoros. Like ETB 2 damage? I mean that's like super whatever. I don't see tokens. I see that, but I don't really see tokens on here. And it's been for attacks with slime counter and up to non-horror creating control slime counters. Those all abilities, yeah. Tristan Decaphile was an alternate win con. I hate Tidal Barracuda. I hate this card. Giving my opponents flash? Are you crazy? That sounds awful. No thank you. Reality Chip is good. Oh, you know what? Here's a new card that I think is pretty good. Stack. I just added it to my decks. I think it's. Also, you need like a slip out the back for Volo. Actually, Volo, does Volo matter? Volo only needs to be able to activate his ability. Yeah, because the artifact will always have the ability of when you cast something, blah blah blah. So Volo himself just literally needs to be able to like exist long enough to ETB, make the journal, and then eventually like pay to and tap a couple times. So Volo himself doesn't really need protection. What I would like to see, honestly, oh, okay, Urabrask is here. Okay, Urabrask is here. That's good. Okay. Creature you control have haste. Blood. Draw cards. Locust God. Okay, that makes sense. Twisted Deck of File. Can't be blocked. A lot of can't be blocked, guys. Do we care about that? Do you on-hit? I don't think you do a lot of on-hit stuff. So, Siren Storm Chamber is good. Rose Room Treasurer. Monkey Pirate. Untap 2 other target permanents. Activate only as the source elements return. Elman Hawker. Yeah, a lot of... this is a weird deck. Oh, I mean, like, I guess Neheb the Eternal will do this. Draw that many cards, not that much red. Nira, Kraken. The weird on-hit damage, like, so, like, you goad, no, you need to goad more things. How does Burrow get any bigger, also, by the way? Is there anything in this deck that makes Burrow bigger than a 2/5? Because Bertil? Creatures your opponents control with power less than Bertil. So he's a 2/5. He needs to be able to get bigger over time. Which I'm not seeing in your deck the ability to do. So you'll just eternally goad one power creatures, but I don't even see goad in red at all here other than the battle armor. Muldrifter should probably be in here. Yeah, almost more than Ingot Chewer, but I mean, you don't have another way to destroy artifacts otherwise, so maybe it's worth it. But I think oh, the Phyrexian Muldrifter, or the Eldrazi one, does that do the same thing? Nulldrifter. Cast spell, draw 2 cards, neither one evoke 2. Nulldrifter, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, this, just like Muldrifter just gives you more ability to complete the journal, complete the Pokedex. Yeah, I think... This is an interesting puzzle of a deck because it is a Pokedex. It's a Pokedex deck. You need to be able to keep on crafting creatures, but the creatures have to do all the work that other creatures don't do. I would put in... Man, this is a weird one. This is a super weird one. Yeah, you could run Furcrag in here. Like, just as a commander, Furcrag is kind of... hold on. Do you not have Vengeful Ancestor in here? How are you supposed to do goad stuff? How are you... What? Hold on. Vengeful Ancestor? Hello? Whenever a Vengeful Ancestor attacks or enters the battlefield or attacks, goad target creature, and then whenever a goaded creature attacks, deals 1 damage to its controller? Like, hello? It's kind of like peak goad card here. Like, I guess you gotta do... Oh, that's funny. How about this card? I know that this deck review is a little lesser on the communication here because it's a very unique deck. We're going over a very unique deck. So I don't think most of us have like much experience in like building a Pokedex, more or less. But what do you think about this one, Thundering Djinn? So one is a Djinn is gonna add to the Pokedex, but when it attacks, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. I mean, that could get real spicy with Volo. You know what I mean? I think that gets real spicy with Volo. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. If Volo's out and you just draw a bunch. Yeah, highly recommend this one for sure. Highly recommend one of those. And then Grenzo also is like kind of premier gold creature. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, no, is Grenzo not in here? This is crazy. Grenzo is huge. So whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Go target creature that player controls. Hey, Based. So like, I mean, this deck has a bunch of weird unblockable creatures for reasons I don't entirely understand. I'll be honest with you. I don't entirely get it. But like, Grenzo is kind of hyper necessary if you're trying to do any sort of goad deck. We're looking fresh. Thank you. Yeah, it is fresh. It's a good look. It's a very good look. And okay, so these are the cards that we have right now. So I have Thassa's Oracle is needed in here, right? Because if you don't have Laboratory Maniac, you just die, right? Like, am I wrong? Am I not like understand? Like, if you're, yeah, I don't know. You need Labman. Thassa's Oracle makes it also more palatable too. Null Drifter is just Mull Drifter, but also an Eldrazi. Honestly, I'd probably put both in here because the Volo's book lets you take one of the creature's types and write it down. I'd probably put both of those cards in here, if I'm being perfectly honest. Grenzo, if you're trying to do goad and you keep having a lot of these, like, again, kind of weird unblockable creatures, don't really get why. I still don't understand why, per se. But whatever. They're here, then Grenzo, the Hellraiser, Havoc Raiser, is going to let you keep on goading your opponent's creatures. So you definitely need him. The Thundering Djinn, I think, is kind of a spicy pick because, I mean, one activation of Volo, and you get to draw like 6 cards or something on top of the card you drew per turn. That's 7 damage, and then the Djinn just kind of swings on in there. I see that you clearly have like a bunch of untapped spells in the deck. A bunch of untapped creatures, so being able to like tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap, blah blah blah, draw a bunch of cards, and then smack in for a Thundering Djinn is like, I mean, that's huge. That's really big. X damage for X to each other creature. Is there not like a better tier in it? I don't think that card's good. And then the last one is Vengeful Ancestor. And with Vengeful Ancestor, I'm also just kind of like suggesting, I'm in general suggesting more goad-based creatures. If you, like, in your own like paragraph, you kind of talked about how like goad is a little bit of the target here, and like clearly, you know, Red Death and Benthil, you know, it's kind of clear that that's, and also the Popular Entertainer, it's clear that that's a goal for you in the battle armor, but like 1, 2, 3 cards that say goad on them specifically, not counting this one. You still need your commander out, right? You need both of these out. But I'm not seeing like a lot of goading, in all honesty. I'm really not. So I would change that up. I would try to make a little bit more sense with the goaded creatures to be able to get in there for the damage that you need and to prevent people from hitting you, more so than not. Oh, also Walking Atlas. True. Also walking. So Walking Atlas as a creature, tap, put a land you can from your hand into the battlefield. Even if your commander isn't out, right? So that you can, like, you know, tap 2, draw a bunch of cards, blah blah blah. Even if he's not out, and you simply have and you just have Walking Atlas and a Chakram Retriever, that's great. You get to put 2 lands into play from your hand, not even tapped. You just put them into play, you know, equal, you know, they just do whatever they're supposed to do. But having your untappers be able to do something outside of just waiting for your commander to exist and be able to pop off is a good thing as well. So, oh, and then the new land, the arena. You play a Voladet minus blue, white, blink, though, to get both creature types added to the journal. That's fucking adorable. I love that. Oh, well, wait, hold on. What? No. That's whenever you cast a creature spell, know its creature types. Not creature ETB, but when you cast a creature spell. Is this awkward? Okay, I just say return to hand. Okay. Oh, bounce. Bounce decks. Okay. Grizzly Gentleman, head just dripping with sweat, going like, wait. I gotta make a call. I gotta make a call. Okay, alright, good. Yeah, this is a interesting one. And the new the lands, I have a bunch of those lands right here. The double-sided lands, the Modo dual face lands. What's the blue one? The Hydroelectric Specimen. Put that in there because that's a creature that fits your needs, but also land if you need. Hydroelectric Specimen will, like, if someone goes to kill your Laboratory Maniac, you get to swoop it over to something else, and it's a weird, which is a different creature type. Is the blue-red one a creature? No, the blue-red one is a spell. I think they're all spells. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then the red one is also a creature too, if you want, but it has prowess and brings non-creature spells back from your graveyard. That's not what you want. Baron Master Wizard. Yeah. Baron Master Wizard would be really good in that sort of deck. Yeah. No, that's cool. I think for most of these, this deck doesn't need it because, like, the first time you cast this, it'll be like on Gnome. The second time will be Bird. If your commander dies and then you recast your commander, it'll probably be on Wizard, right? Because there's enough other humans in the deck. So I believe that this deck has enough, like, just the right amount of overlap where you don't need a bounce to get that second trigger. Another card will just simply have that creature type because the other creature type of that card has been taken up. But not too much, but sometimes. But not too much, but sometimes. So, that's all. Yeah, so those are my recommendations. It's honestly these 6. These 6 are my recommendations. So, reviewing King Wispies, Izzet, Volo, Iterate, Scholar / Popular Entertainer. It's clearly a Pokedex style deck where you're trying to just, it's all creatures, literally all creatures and lands, which is adorable, except for the background enchantment. You're just trying to be able to mark different creature types on your Pokedex, and then tap, untap, tap, untap, Volo a bunch of times to draw a million cards, and win with the Laboratory Maniac, and other sort of like cutesy things. That's perfectly fine. And Goad is like a secondary theme that you said was in this deck to make people not hit you. So I wanted to kind of focus a little bit more on the Goad mechanic here because I think it's a little lacking. So what we have here for your top 5 recommendations is Thoracle. I'm not the biggest fan of the card, but like when you're talking about how you want to win with Laboratory Maniac, I mean, Laboratory Maniac's the only copy of itself in the deck. There's no Jace, because you're not doing any Planeswalkers, it's all creatures. So to keep the creature theme and also make sure that you can win by having just the biggest brain in the world, Thoracle needs to be in here. And you're using Thoracle super honestly, by the way. You don't have to feel bad about it. It's the most honest use of Thoracle you can get. Null Drifter, because it is both an Eldrazi and an Elemental, it allows you to kind of just spice that up, still draws you cards. Grenzo, Havoc Razor, you have a lot of like kind of unblockable creatures in here, or like flying creatures and stuff for whatever reason. You want those creatures to hit so that you can then goad your opponent's creatures, right? Like goad even more than just what Popular Entertainer lets you do. And then Thundering Djinn, I actually think this is probably the funniest card that you could run. Djinn is going to give you Pokedex entry, which is awesome, but then also if you do the dream of, you know, tapping Volo for 2, drawing a bunch of cards, untapping him, tap for 2, draw a bunch of cards, blah blah blah. If you get to live that dream, then the Thundering Djinn just gets to probably just kill someone outright, or at least be good removal. Which, I mean, as all creature deck is, you need like good creature removal. So I think Thundering Djinn is definitely the best pick. And then Vengeful Ancestor, if you're going to be doing Goad shenanigans, you want to kind of really double down on the Goad shenanigans. So this is one of the #1 Goad cards, being able to kind of pain everyone when their goaded creatures attack and die and all that sort of stuff. And then an honorable mention, or not even honorable, it would be in the top 5 if the other ones just kind of like weren't a little better. Walking Atlas. As a creature, it allows you to put more lands into play. And sometimes Volo doesn't have haste. Sometimes Volo just like isn't worth paying 2 to tap it just to draw 3 cards. Not worth it. But you still have like, you know, you still have your Chakram Retriever and your Clever Conjurer. You have your untapped cards. So what if you were to say like tap Walking Atlas, put a land into play, untap Walking Atlas, put another land into play, continue so that you can actually do a little bit of mana acceleration in blue-red. I have no artifacts, you know. So I would suggest those tools. Personally, I think your deck is very unique and very interesting, and I would love to play against it sometime. As long as you know, you're saying like, yeah, no, this is up to stuff. This is doing what I want it to do. But yeah, there you go, King Wispy. Thank you very much for a very, very interesting look at a deck style I was never going to make. I have a blue-red Go deck, and it's my least favorite deck in the planet, with Furcrag as the commander. But this honestly looks more fun. But it just needs a little bit more of like the actual goad mechanic in here. Alright, King Wispy, thank you very much for your Volo deck. Let's go on to the next one. Let me do the stuff. Okay. Just gotta make sure I thumbs up, or give a little Urbrast thumbs up over here. A little Urbrast thumbs up. Okay, so we caught up there. Halo Spades. This is your Jasper Flint deck. I do hate this deck. I do hate Jasper Flint. I've come to learn that I really don't like I don't like Group Hug, and you already know that. But I also really don't like Red Thievery is my least favorite thing. Okay, so it looks like Halo Spades turned their Jasper Flint deck into Edward Kenway, which is completely fair and completely fine. I think it's honestly a more fun option as well. But they were asking about Jasper Flint in the original deck review thing, so we're gonna skip it. They can ask if they want any advice on the Kenway deck. But for right now, we're going to skip that one. Going to skip that one. Okay, Nick Scry Society. Yes, Scry Society is covering. Wants me to cover Yuma. Yuma. Does Nick still have it? Okay, gotcha. All right, Nick Scry Society. Scry Society. Chat, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Scry Society. Yuma. Wow. Yuma Proud Protector. It's Yuma, the Proud Protector. Alright. Sorry. So if I played Shapeshifters, would you be able to name any creature type on entry, or would it only count as a shapeshifter? I think for... that's a good question. Let me just check Volo really fast. Because his... Choose a benefit, blah, 2 commanders, command zone, blah, 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 blah. Okay, literally all the notes for Volo is just about that mechanic. Okay. Whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that has been noted. Oh, yeah. It just says note one of its creature types, and it says it's all creature types. I think so, actually. I'll be honest, I definitely don't know. It's kind of weird to not... Well, if you cast a Merfolk, if there's a card that says, every time you cast a Merfolk spell, this triggers. But it says keep note of something that it is. That's actually a really good question. I don't entirely know. I don't entirely know. I will say that I'm not seeing any deck lists with Volo as the commander have any of them, right? Volo just doesn't have any changelings in here. So just in terms of just okay, well, ideas that other people might have, conclusions other people might have come to, they have come to the conclusion that shapeshifters, whatever, don't work with Volo. So I'm gonna defer to the majority and say I guess it doesn't. I think it's the note part. Something tells me it's the notation part, because there's cards that say when you cast in a Merfolk, do X, Y, and Z, and that those will, I believe, those will trigger. But not, I think making note of something that's on the card is probably what supersedes the card ability that says, hey, I'm all creature types. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, that's what I've concluded. All right, Yuma's great. I love Yuma so much. 310 to Yuma. And I love that Yuma's also outrageously popular too. They deserve it. All right. This is gonna be a hard one to review in terms of new cards and everything, because obviously it's a pretty much a brand new style of deck. But let's dive right on into it. So Yuma, Proud Protector. Yuma Proud Protector. Actually, let's go over what they said this deck is supposed to do first. So this is from Nick Scry Society. It's not 100% complete, but heavy modified Yuma Precon. I know by now it is way more than just heavily modified. Try to learn Hardened to land recursion effects while making up for most deserts coming in tapped by including both Tiller Engine and Spelunking. Got a few heavy hitters in here like Scape Shift and Life from the Loan that really pop off in the deck, but it's quickly becoming apparent in my pod that all it takes is one well-placed Bojuka Bog or another Graveyard Exile spell to basically leave you dead in the water. That's very fair, which is why you want to make sure that I think that the best way around a deck like this, right, that has to kind of deal with what am I looking at? Oh, what is the art of this card? Holy shit, that's crazy. So you want the deck itself to mill. It needs to self-mill, and then you need to be utilizing that self-mill as, like, you know, sooner rather than later, and then still self-milling, right? So one way to get around one Bojuka Bog ruining you is being able to get the value out of your graveyard like before the Bojuka Bog like hits, right? If you only have 10 cards in your graveyard, you have a 100-card deck, right? If your graveyard is only 10 cards deep and your opponents like don't have to play the Bojuka Bog right now, then like you need to have at least triggered something from your graveyard at least once or twice by now. Then your opponent can go like, okay, well, you know, 10 cards in your graveyard, you've triggered something from it twice, I'm going to Bojuka Bog you. And then you'll go like, you know, that's fair. I did utilize the graveyard twice, but I only need 10 cards to be able to start like actually using this thing. You know, I'm going to mill 3 cards right now. Oh, usable cards? You're going to regret that you didn't, you know, have another Bojuka Bog in your hand, even though that is now possible. So yeah, my advice on how to get around graveyard, like a Rest in Peace is going to screw you over, right? That's different. Rest in Peace is different because that's just like a passive, you're all screwed. But in terms of just like a Bojuka Bog where it's a one-time get rid of your graveyard only, that is when you need to just be able to make do with like a graveyard that's not 20 cards deep, right? If your graveyard's 20 cards deep, everyone has to Bojuka Bog you. They're going to. But if it's only 5 or like 10 cards deep, they'll wait. You know, they'll wait until you clearly have like 20 cards and then do it. So you want to make it worse for them for not like going for an exiled graveyard immediately, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, so that's where most of my advice will be like the basis around. But let's read Yuma the Proud Protector. So Yuma, Proud Protector, 5 and Naya, 6/6 legendary creature, human ranger. The spell costs less to cast for each land card in your graveyard, right? So Yuma goes from 5, 6, 7, 8 down to maybe just 3 for each land card in your graveyard. Any land, not just deserts. Then whenever Yuma Proud Protector enters the battlefield or attacks, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, draw a card. Okay. So on ETB, you get to, you know, get a card back, which is awesome. And also on attack. And then whenever a desert card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you make a 4/2 green plant warrior creature token with reach. And I've been on record and gone on and on and on about saying how 4/2 with reach is honestly like the perfect token, right? 4/2 means that you will not be able to hit them, right? Because most of your flyers are weaker than 4 toughness, right? Or they just block and then you go on your merry way. But like 4/2 is really strong. Even your opponents on the ground don't really want to necessarily swing into that. Yeah, 4/2s with reach is huge. All right, so we want self-mill because it's whenever a desert card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, not just on the battlefield, but also just existing. and being milled. Aftermath Analyst definitely like goes in there. ETB mill 3 cards. Ancient Green Warden, play lands from your graveyard. Land entering the battlefield causes an ability to trigger again. Avenger of Zendikar, Azusa Lost but Seeking, Dryad of the Illusion Grove. Dune Chanter is easily one of the best cards in your deck, by far. And also we should take a look at the amount of 3 or less drops in this deck, because there is more than just a few, and that in and of itself might warrant a Sun Titan in here, just because there's so many 3 drops in this deck that are all very good. Hazezon, Shaper of Sand, basically the secondary commander of the deck. Desert Walk, this creature can't be blocked as long as defending player controls the desert. You may play desert lands from your graveyard, which is really good. And then whenever a desert land enters the battlefield under your control, make 2 Sand Warriors, which is also really good. Kiri, Talented Sprout. This is the little baby that Yuma's holding. 1 in the Naya 0/3 Plant Druid. Other plants and tree folk you control get +2/0 at the beginning of your post-combat main phase. Return target plant, tree folk, or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, Kiri is like the most secondary commander of all time. And that's fine. They belong in the deck. They do a thing, but you're not going to be paying too much attention to Kiri. Neither the Reliquary, Sacrifice of Force, or Plains. Search your library for a land card and put into play, and shuffle your library. Yep. Sacrifice a Force or Plains. Yeah, you gotta... Well, search your library for a land card, put into play. Yeah, then shuffle your library. I was gonna say put into play under an opponent's turn. Give them Desert Walk. Hell yeah. Okay. Mina and Den, Wildborn. That's just like another lands draw thing. Oracle Moldiah. Orcish Lumberjack. Sacrifice a forest to add 3 mana in any combination of red, white, or white. Yeah. Good. Outcaster, Trailblazer, ETB. Creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield on your control. There's not a lot. I mean, there is, but also isn't. I don't know. Sacrifice. I mean, it'll still draw you cards at the end of the day. The Outcaster Trailblazer, like, it will draw you cards. Pylath World Sculptor, enter the battlefield, make plants, and then buff the plants on lands. Revelry Brawler. Sure. When it enters the battlefield, put X counters on it where X is its power. Whenever another creature... Does Azusa need to be a 2/4? Like, does it? You know? Like, do these cards really need, like, that extra amount of, power and toughness? Ramnap, Excavator, lands for any land from graveyard, Rumbleweed, land card in your graveyard. Yep. Scoot Swarm, it's a landfall deck. Silver Deputy. Enter the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land or desert, put into play, or put it to the top of your deck. Ugh. Oof. Okay, well, I mean, I guess you do what you gotta do, but yikes. Sprouting Goblin. 1 in the red. Goblin Druid. When Sprouting Goblin enters the battlefield and influence kick. Search your library for a land card with a basic land that reveal and okay. Alright. Sure. This is Dalseem, Juniper Ascendant, hexproof unless it's attacking, reach. Whenever a creature you control with reach deals combat damage to a player, it can't be blocked. With untap it and it can't be blocked. Additional combat. One more creature you control. Yeah, I guess that's actually really good. With reach attacks, untap it, and it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power this combat. Although there are 4/2s, so I mean they're blockable by all the 1/1s, but you know, whatever. Taylor engine with this Titania. There's another Titania out here actually. Whenever a forest enters, number of elemental creature you. Yeah, okay, fine. Fine. Twist my arm. You know, Titania Voice of Gaia is like actually pretty playable in this sort of deck. Yeah, I'm actually gonna recommend it. It's actually not a bad card for this sort of deck. Okay. All right. Chat, how are we doing? Are we live over here? Yeah, I honestly think you need a Sun Titan. Sun Titan also gets back lands, by the way. I never thought I'd be here suggesting a Sun Titan, but like, it is kind of really objectively good here. Sorceries, short term enchantment. Yeah, yep. Basic, faithless, life in the loam. Map the frontier. Sacrifice X lands for each land. Sacrifice this way, draw a card. You may put X additional lands to the battlefield. Yeah. Yep. Requisition raid. Yep. Skate shift. Yep. 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 Sylvan Reclamation. Perfect. Good, good, good. Sylvan Scrying. And then World Souls Wade. Yeah, World Souls Rage. Jesus. Deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped, which is, I mean... Wow. That, yeah, alright. I'll be sure to put all my lands in. Thank you. Crop rotation, Haro. Yeah. And then Brass's Tunnel Grinder, you're going to decay a lot into being able to make clones of spells. Conduit of Worlds, I know people use Conduit of Worlds. I kind of don't. I don't like being locked out of being able to cast anything else for the rest of a turn. And that's just me. Crucible of Worlds, obviously. Sol Ring, Zern Orb. Zern Orb. Dark Brazilian, you lose 2 life. Enchantments, I need joins up. Oh my lord. Double abilities? Double Yumas. Okay. Double Yuma triggers in order to put more 4/2s in play. Aura Shards, Bitter Reunion, Elemental Bond, Exploration, Fellow Retreat, Gurk's Uprising, Splunking, Undergrowth Realm. Yeah. That's it's a pretty good list right there. In Path to Exile, you can do Swords. I think Swords just gains them life, but doesn't give them like a whole new land. And then this is where is the other buffs? We're missing a color. Red, white, green, white. There's not a... Oh, no. What? No, yeah, there's not a green... No, there's... They made the whole cycle of these, didn't they? Could have swore they made the whole cycle there. So there's a couple new cards. Lazotep Quarry, brand new desert. Yeah, literally brand new. No, close. Taps for mana, sacrifice a color, sacrifice a creature, add 1 mana of any color. And then you can X2 tap, sack a desert, exile target creature with mana value greater than mana value create a copy of it except for That's actually pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Oh. Well, hold on. What's this? Anyone hear about this one? Card's kind of good, right? Whenever you sacrifice a desert or a desert card is put into your graveyard from your hand or library, you may put that card onto the battlefield under your control at the beginning of your next end step. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 5 or more deserts, create that many Sand Warrior creature tokens. That's really strong. That's going to be a recommendation from me, bucko. I know, like, it does lead to your commander having, like, less cards in the graveyard for them to technically, like, profit off of, but it's kind of, like, really worth it. There's not really, like, good deserts. You have Ramunap Ruins, Desert of the Indomitable or True, Desert of the Dead. There's the red one. The red, no, the red. Oh, that's right there. Desert of the Fervent, yep. Cradle of the Accursed. And they didn't make deserts into land types yet, right? I didn't awoke to that fever dream. Springtime Druid, I know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lands tutors to actually get. You know, there's actually a lot. And I understand not knowing all of them for sure. But definitely Lotus Cobra? Yeah. I think Lotus Cobra is let me see. Our Rex right here. Our bop. Looking for one more still. Is there better deserts? Or are there better cards that search for deserts? And I don't think there is. I think that's like the biggest issue here. But I would, at the end of the day, suggest Morag. Fury of Akom. This is just a way for you to get more combats in. He's kind of a weird card because he says whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, or basically main phase 1 now? Oh, wait. Did that get eroded? No, okay. It just says if it's your main. Well, okay, yeah. If it, in that makes sense. It doesn't have a specific name, but yeah, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. And being able to, come in with Yuma, sacrifice, some desert, draw a card, and then Morag is here, swinging on in with them and everything, and then you put another land into play from like Azusa or something. Then like that's when like shit just hits the fan. For your opponents mainly. But I do like this deck. It's a lot of playing from graveyard though. Being if your end step, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Yeah, I mean, damn, that's like really good. That's actually really good for this build. All right. So that's the last recommendation. So, the first one's, I still need to make a first one recommendation. Terror of the Peaks. Now, I know that that's like kind of like, wow, whoop-de-doo, we broke Terror of the Peaks. But truly, or anything like it that more fits your theme and budget. But Terror of the Peaks just says like every time you make a token, 4 damage to something somewhere, right? That's pretty good. That's like a decent chunk of damage. So, it's really worth it. It's really, really worth putting the Terror of the Peaks in here. As both like a newer player like Yarnik or not. 40 lands is wild. 40 lands goes crazy. I know we have Suntine in here. I would suggest Sevinne's Reclamation as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So to wrap this up, Scry Society, your Yuma Proud Protector deck. You already know that I love playing against this thing. I like that you have a lot of like add extra, play extra lands from your hand and all that stuff, and then also you have cards like Ramunap Excavator that's letting you play cards from the graveyard. So that combined with a Azusa Lost but Seeking, that's 2 more additional lands coming from your graveyard into play, which is great. Good for them. My biggest concern, well, certainly a little bit of card draw. That's definitely like a little bit of a concern for sure. But like you do have good removal, destroy target artifact or enchantment. World Soul's Rage is pretty decent. Okay, maybe you don't have that many reasons to leave. I swear I saw more. Heroic Intervention saves you. Path of Exile. Artifacts are here. And the enchantments, any joins up, so that's going to be your Yuma when he enters the battlefield, sacrifice a creature, make a 4/2. That gets doubled with Annie joins up. Aura Shards, Bitter Reunion, Elemental Bond, lands in the play, draw some cards, lands in the play, draw cards, lands in the play, seek out lands. Yeah. And then 40 lands, which is a lot. I think that's a lot. I would go down to 36. I'm gonna say 36 because you still have you still have Broken Bond because it just says like a land card, not a specific type. So you have the ability to put multiple different kinds of lands, especially deserts, into play almost kind of like whenever. So accidentally getting rid of whatever was over here is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, so that this deck can pop off just a little bit more. I look forward to it. I definitely want to see this Scratch Society, so stay golden. Stay heckin' golden. Alright. That was the trash review for Scratch Society. Let me just make sure. All right, next. Oh, Viking. Okay, Viking. Put way too much for few pay ways to flip face down. Okay, so Vikings is here again with their Missy deck, as in like literally Missy from Doctor Who. She's called Missy, but you can call me Daphne. Wow. Oh wow. TLDR, a lot of pointed removal, few ways to flip face down cards, and payoffs from being so. Okay. Sure. Let me just switch over the names really fast. This is on their Missy. On their Missy shit. Who up on their Missy arc? Alright, so yeah, for the meme, removal, flip face down cards, etc. So here is Vikings is Missy for 3 and a Grixis, legendary creature, Time Lord, Rogue. Whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, face down and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. Yeah. That's pretty strong. So at the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or if you draw a card, chaos ensues. Okay. Whenever none of the creatures... Yeah, so I mean, like, we get it. Yeah. Like, make your opponent sacrifice things with, like, Liliana Dreadhorde General, and then all of a sudden, they're just yours. As a little Cyberman. Alright, this shouldn't be too difficult to kind of see what is what. It's kind of pretty straightforward. Sorry, I'm just... This is... Missy. Alright, so we gotta kill things. So Braids, Arisen Nightmare, obviously it's just like you sacrifice something early on that your opponents can't sacrifice or really just don't want to, so you oppress them that way. But eventually they do have to sacrifice something. Well, that something comes back into play as a Cyberman for you. Canoptic Spider, whenever another non-token artifact creature or vehicle enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. That's actually pretty huge, right? Because the creature itself dies, right? So on your opponent's board, that creature died, and then you return it face down as a 2/2 Cyberman. Not a 2/2 Cyberman token, but a literal 2/2 Cyberman. That's actually really inventive. I like that. So yeah, Canoptic Spider is just it's just an artifact creature in my domain. So you're drawing cards, which is great. Crypto Thrall, yep. Deadeye Navigator, what are you Deadeye Navigating, I wonder? Dockside. Xealdor, Reality Sculptor, face down creature get +1/+1, turn face down creature plus up. Creatures you don't control are mercenaries. Okay. Creatures you control but don't own. Yeah, so you do turn all of your Cybermen into mercenaries, and then at the beginning of your end step. Yeah. Yep. Yep, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Muldrifter, yep. Pitiless Plunderer, yep. Phototechnic Performer. Disguise. Whenever or another creature you cannot control is turned face up, that creature takes 2 damage. What? Whenever or another creature you control is turned face up. That is a wonderful question. I will have to ask that one. That one's going on the ask list. River Kelpie, really good card. It only took forever, but really good card. Roshan, Hidden Magister. Other creatures you control are assassins in addition to other types. Same is true for spells. And you control and creatures, blah, blah, blah. Face down creatures you control have menace. Yep. Whenever a permanent is controls turn face up, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Perfectly fine for this deck. I'm glad that they cost 4. When I did a quick glance, it was like 5. I'm like, oh. Satara the Infiltrator. That is 1 or more non-token creatures. So that doesn't... You get the full value out of it if I just see. I never. Oh wait, but if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast this card. Oh right, which is why he's perfect for it. Okay, never mind. Shard of the Void Dragon. Whenever Shard of the Void Dragon attacks, each one sacrifices a non-land permanent, ideally a creature. I will take that creature. Num num. Whenever an artifact from the graveyard from the battlefield, or is put into exile from the battlefield. Okay. Shriekmaw. Stark Alarmist. Target face down for sale. At end of turn, sacrifice it. Damn. Thassa Deep Dwelling. Cyber Controller. The Master Gallifrey's End. The Reality Chip Visitor Seer. Yep. Yeah. This was really cool. Those are some cool creatures. What is that? Night's Whisper. Wow, I didn't know that had alternate art. Huh. Her name is Death. Her name is Death. Feed the Swarm, yeah. Cyber Conversion, really good. Black Dark Ritual. Deadly Pact, Relic, Fire Convent, Flare of Denial, Flare of Malice, Go for the Throat, Managing Mystic Confluence. No, oh yeah, I mean, like, you have the right. I mean, I know you only started Magic a little bit ago, but like you are on the right track with all these cards. Choosing. Arcane Signet, Ashnod's Altar, Champion's Helm, Jeweled Lotus for Missy? I guess so. Jeweled Lotus, Power, Mindstone, Mox Opal, Phyrexian Altar, Relic of Saruman, Soul Ring, Soul Staff of Eden. Fine. There might be the blue-red one. Why not put the blue-red one here? Right? Like, just go down on one land. Is that always that way? Enchantments, yep. Grave Pact, yep. Ugin's Mastery. He's a Secret Eldrazi, yep. Yeah, this is pretty good. Harmonic Convergence, Unstable, yeah. And then 35 lands. You need like the red talisman for sure. Maybe giving it 1 land, but wait and see. All right, and then Dreadhorde General just makes each player sacrifice 2 creatures. So as long as one of those 2 creatures is not Missy, then you're kind of all set. All right, Food Chain Mover. Okay. that is that one. What time is it? One. Shuffles. It's all about witches, warlocks, and spellcasters. Deck feels kind of slow and clunky, but it's your theme deck. Ooh. Love seeing people's theme decks and telling them that they're bad. Okay, sorry. I just had to think of something really fast. Alright. Let's go over to this here. No. Hello? Copy. Paste. Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm lost, chat. Hold on. I just got completely turned around. My bad. Alright. We're refocused now. That's what I needed. We need advice on this deck. That's right. I like almost completely missed the advice part. I just kind of went over the deck and then didn't say anything about it. The goal is to put cards in your opponent's graveyard. That's like not difficult to do. You have to control whenever another non-artifact creature dies. You know, you could still just do big stupid things like what's oh, I mean, a Cursed Marauder, you know, that, yeah, I mean, like a Cursed Marauder goes in here, sadly. It's just kind of like a really good card. So why not, because it kind of looks like this was missed from, and I guess I gotta ask them directly, but we have 2 card recommendations right here. Cursed Marauder is just good, but yeah, Death in Heaven just kind of like does everything that Missy wants to do, just like at once, you know what I mean? Like Death in Heaven is just straight up Missy. Right? Like, target player mills 2 cards and exiles their graveyard. So like that person, exile yourself, and then put all creature cards exiled with Death in Heaven onto the battlefield face down under your control. They're 2/2 Cyberman artifact creatures. Like, I mean, not for nothing, but just like, just do it, you know? Like, just kind of just do it. What does Master Gallifrey do? Make them pay. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life among your opponents. That player faces a villain's choice. They lose 4 life, or you create a token that's a copy of that card. That's huge and horrifying and really scary, actually. That's huge. That's big. Yeah, the Master Gallifrey end is cool. Man, there are so many fucking cool Commander decks. Doctor Who was such a delight. I know, like, there's been other universes beyond, but like, so many cards from Doctor Who itself are all incredibly great commanders by like on their own. You know, they do have a lot of overlap, but there's just a lot that are just, you can just, roll up with any number doctor, right? Any doctor, insert number here, you could just roll up and say, this is my commander and this is what it does. And it's just like, oh my god, I didn't even know people use that number doctor, but here we are. Okay, what's it do? Oh my god, it's doing the thing. And even with the masters here, right? Like Master Gallifrey's End is absolutely a commander all by himself if you want. Like, this is just red-black artifacts, right? Non-token artifact creature dies. You may exile it. If you do, either your opponent loses 4 life or you just make a token copy of it. Like, okay. Jesus, like, yeah, wow, yeah, that's great, so good. But yeah, so in terms of, yeah, I don't know why Death in Heaven wouldn't just be in here, because it literally does what Missy wants to do without Missy even having to be there. So that's kind of like a no-brainer for me. Jedi Rollick is an exile spell, so that's something to be worried about. These become face down. It's just an artifact creature Cyberman, so you can't use them on the flares. They're not tokens, which is cool. Drink water vest, you're right. They're not tokens, which is cool. I'm glad that they're like real creatures, but you do need them to be face up, because they're face down. Cybermen are just colorless Cybermen. So the flares are kind of maybe on that one. This deck doesn't... This is not a Mr. Steal Your Girl deck, which is interesting to be noted, because there's nothing that flips creatures face up. Not really. This is kind of all just this is 90%. Oh, Flicker. Okay, well, no, Flicker. Flicker. No, but you have to target that creature. That doesn't quite do it. That's... Deadeye Navigator is kind of a weird card here, I think, because you can only Cellbound one at a time, but whatever. Yeah. There's not a lot of flip up cards in here. I mean, one Flicker would do it, right? Like, either flip up or just like flicker up and down, and then you just kind of do it. I know Thoughts of Deep Dwelling's in here, but there's not like more artifacts that kind of do that. So I don't really think that this is the biggest I feel like it's not a full Mrs. Steal Your Girl deck, where, like, you know, it's hard to play over a spell table. But Atrada Deadly Fugitive, face down creatures you control have pay 4, turn this creature face up. If you don't, or if you can't exile it, then you may cast an exile spell without paying its mana cost, which is kind of fucked. And then whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library. I mean, for one creature, for the cost of one 3-drop creature, the rest of your deck just kind of like keeps on doing the thing that it does, but now you also take cards from the top of the library. So I don't really see that being like a bad thing. So personally, I would also recommend Atrada, especially because you have Roshin here, like cards that turn all of your yourself into assassins. So why not just kind of like keep that going, I suppose. Sataro's draw. Noptic Spider is draw. Windfall is draw. Macy goes infinite with a sack outlet and a cycle of morphs that reveals, like Ruthless Ripper. Ruthless Ripper. Why does that? Yeah. And honestly, like, so yeah, Ruthless Ripper. When it's turn face up, target player loses 2 life, and then you just reveal a black card in your hand. So it goes like, you know, sack it, it comes back face down. You reveal a black card from your hand, flip up, lose 2 life, sack it, and then repeat. Personally, I think that's okay. I think that it's okay. Like, I'm okay. Listen, I have infinite combos in all of my decks, one way or another, because sometimes you do just have to get there, right? Sometimes you're in a pinch situation, and you're not going to be able to just like, you know, kill your opponents with all of these creatures that you have just based on how the game went. My main thing that I'm happy about, at least like with this combo, is that like, well, it does involve your commander, right? Like your commander needs to be there. It is an interactable piece of well, commanderness. And you also need to have like a black card in your hand, which, I mean, it's a 3-color deck, so you could just not. It's absolutely possible to just not. So Ruthless Ripper is definitely definitely in there for sure. And just one good call on that too, Fet's Bounty. I completely forgot that that she does that, because I remember that there was like an infinite combo. I just kind of forgot what it was. I guess just kill spells in general. What protection does your commander have? None? I mean, your opponents just have to kill Missy, right? Like, you realize that your opponents have to kill Missy in order for you to like not win. So you should probably take extra precautions to make sure that Missy can live. I do like that there is a Fierce Guardianship in the deflecting slot, and that's cool and all, but like, why not more, you know? Why not like an artifact, right? Boots. If you have Swiftfoot Boots, now you just always have a card that takes the place of an entire counter spell. You know what I mean? So Lightning Greaves. I honestly I kind of just have to suggest Lightning Greaves because it's not here for some reason. I save those types of infinites for games that have dragged on need to end. I don't always go for it. Yeah, exactly. You can hold it in your hand. Yeah, don't play it on turn 2 because that would be cringe. But any other time, I mean, like, whatever. Listen, you got to get there. But yeah, I actually do have to suggest Lightning Greaves. Because it... I mean, your commander's just naked here. Your commander... You have counter spells, and that's fine. But having boots that can just be put on your commander as soon as she's cast, whether it's like the first time, second time, or third time, being able to just be like, okay, like if you didn't have removal for me right now, you're gonna have to have even more special removal for me later. And I think that's better than hoping that you will have a Fierce Guardianship or a Flare of Denial or a Mana Drain on you at all times. Fire con. X life, kills X damage. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's largely it. So, just as a wind down to Vikings Missy deck. So this is Missy, Mrs. Steel Girl, with a little splash of like turn cards face up to do extra damage things, but like clearly that's not the only focus that you have. It's just slightly there a little bit of flicker as well, and even then it's just like at the end step you get to flicker one creature, fine. But it's not everything, and that's perfectly good. You have a really good protection package here too, which is super awesome. But yeah, my suggestions for this are the Accursed Marauder, and actually though that changes because once Marauder dies, he kind of flips face down depending on how you flip him up. Blah blah blah. But maybe a Accursed Marauder. Definitely Death in Heaven. Death in Heaven is just a saga that literally says I'm Missy. Do the Missy thing just for someone, 2 different players' entire graveyards. Okay. Lightning Greaves I think do need to be in here. It's not I know it's kind of like a boring suggestion, but I mean Missy does cost 6 mana, and she is kind of the linchpin of the deck. Like, without Missy, you're not really getting a lot of your opponent's creatures. You have a, you know, so still a fine deck anyway, but people are liable to just kill Missy before she can trigger once. And being able to have boots that just say like, hey, I played Missy and I'm equipping her right now. Do you have answers literally right now at instant speed? No? Cool. Then like that saves these counter spells in my hand for like the Blasphemous Act that they're gonna play next turn. It's just like, oh well, actually good thing I got to keep my counter spell and use that. So I highly suggest Lightning Greaves. This Marauder here, the what's it called? The Ruthless Ripper. That's an infinite combo with Missy and any sort of sack outlet, which you don't really have a sack outlet. If I'm like, you don't really have one actually. You're not going infinite here, which is honestly kind of fine. If you were ever to, you know, this would be a perfectly playable card. And I think having just like one infinite in your decks is good in order to break through your opponents, or just, I mean, sorry, for games that you can't break through with just combat, sometimes an infinite that just requires a couple different pieces that goes directly to face, it's perfectly fine in winning with. And then the last one's Atrata. For 3 mana, she just kind of buffs everything your face down creature stuff is doing, while also allowing you to take even more cards off of the top of someone else's library. So that is what, yeah, Villain's Choice, artifact you control, 1 damage to the opponent, yeah. And draw a card, yep. So that's my Missy recommendations. Basically just like these 5. You're already doing great is the cool thing. Like your deck is already really strong. I love the Canoptic Spider bringing drawing you a bunch of cards when things die. Like I really like that a lot. That's actually really cute. So keep it up, and I look forward to playing against it one day. But I would definitely just some level of boots so that she can't be as removed all the time so easily. But yeah. All right. On to the next one. Thank you very much, chat. Yeah, thank you very much for the Ruthless Ripper recommendation. I completely forgot about that one. Thumbs up. And thumbs up. We're going to... Okay, on to the next one. We have Shuffles, who's playing Baba Yaga. Baba Lasagna. Yep, I like these decks. Definitely rather popular one from made popular by EDH Rec. Who Baba Lasagna. Joey from EDH Rec is very, very popular for using this deck, so I've definitely faced against it a couple times. I love, like, this is a really good example of all of the just like really pseudo intricate mini games that Commander players can put themselves into that are deceptively powerful. You know, like when the first 2 times Baba Lasagna happens, you're just like, oh, I lost 3 cards, they gained 3 life, they drew 3 cards. Okay, like that's actually kind of scary, but like, I just still only lost 3. Whatever, they lost 3 creatures from their board. They're 3 permanents. Not that big a deal. But then when it's like, people start hitting each other's faces, and there's like 15 life left, and then Baba Lasagna is over here just going like, 3 life, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm dying. And Baba Lasagna over here is just gonna keep on making it happen over and over and over again. So then now you like technically have a new threat to contend with. I love this card. This deck is really the decks that involve this card are typically pretty fun. All right, let's see. Let's see if there's new cards with this one. Yeah, I can think of one already. So, I gotta change the name. This is, who are ya? Shuffles. Souffles, if you will. Shuffles. Baba. Baba. All right. Night Witch. Here we go. Let's see what we're working with. So, 1 black green Baba Lysagia Night Witch, 3/3 human warlock. Tap, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types among the sacrifice permanents, each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life, and you draw 3 cards. So you always have to sacrifice 3. It's not up to 3, it is, you have to, oh no, sorry, it is up to 3, my bad. Literally it says it right there. Sorry, it is up to 3. So you could actually just sacrifice 1 permanent or 2. And as long as there's 3 different types among them, then you're good to go. So that's why a lot of cards like, say, Coppermere, being an artifact and a creature, is so helpful in decks like these. Because it is both an artifact and a creature. So then you only need artifact, creature, and like 1 other goofy little permanent, and then you're set. 36 lands, 6 enchantments, 7 artifacts, 37 creatures. Okay, let's see how many creatures get doubled up on here. Shuffle says it's all about witches, warlocks, and spellcasters. Deck feels kind of slow and clunky, but it's a fun theme deck. Interesting. It's all about witches, warlocks, and spellcasters. But we're not seemingly delving too far into the creature type stuff? That's strange to me. Okay. No enchantment creatures or anything. Alright. Okay. This is gonna be a weird one. So Augur of Autumn, it's like a witch. I think, like, is this more in here because it's a witch and less because it's helpful? The card, a creature card that you can keep on bringing back. Braids is already gonna sacrifice a lot of things already by herself. Having Braids on top of Baba is, I hope that you have enough, permanence and everything. Chilling Witch enters battlefield. Rats equals the number of opponents you can have. Right, okay. Coppermere gets you mana, but to the sack. Deathrite Shaman. Eternal Witness, Gala Greeters. This is okay. Here's an enchantment creature. Gloom Shrieker enters the battlefield. Return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, exile instead. That's fine. Grimhar Respects. That's a good card. At the beginning of your end step, create the number of food tokens equals the number of non-token creatures you had enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Okay, he is a warlock. Mirror, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of their choice. Okay. Draw a card, please. What? Huh? Okay. Marshland Bloodcast, right. Death Piece is sacrificing. Search level for basic. With your colleagues. Shambling Skeleton. Sarath. Savra. Each player sacrifices a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a black creature, you may pay 2 life. If you do, each other creature sacrifices a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you gain 2 life. Yeah, there's gonna be quite a couple black creatures that you sacrifice. Seaborn Muse, Shigeki, Silver Smoke Ghoul, Titania, Flood. Okay, this is a weird. I mean, I can see why you say it's clunky. So, like, you have witches and warlocks and druids apparently, and wizards and all that stuff, but they don't really have like a cohesive identity. Gala Greeters makes you a tap treasure, and that's cool. You get to sacrifice artifacts. Same is true, and like Genesis Chamber gives you like artifacts and enchantments. You have a Mycosynth Wellspring, a card that you want to play and then you want to sacrifice it, but you don't have the like other side of the coin, which is Ichor Wellspring, which I would say is, you know, just as kind of necessary. Whenever non-zero just dies, investigate. Yeah. Journey to, yeah. Kaven's Eternally is, I mean, you sacrifice the creature that it's on, so then it flips immediately, and then now it's a land that like lets you get stuff back, I guess? But you're not sacrificing any enchantments. This is a weird deck. The instants are fine. That sucks for, well, you kind of need creatures out. Dig Up, Gaze of Granite. Whoa, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X or less. So your whole board? Yikers. One Nature's Lore, Splendid Reclamation, Werebark Repossession, and Victimize. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this deck. So if you're gonna do super creature heavy, brand new card I would recommend is Yurgra. Either of all. So other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types. So now that like all of your creatures will now equal an artifact on top of being, you know, a creature and all that. Yagura just literally makes everything better. For this the entire thought process of this deck. I know, I mean, he's not like a warlock, he's an elemental cat. Does that count? There's like lands that count for artifact. Do you have like the artifact lands in here? You do have Tangle, Spires, and Vault of Whispers. Okay. There's some of that. Take out Splendid Reclamation and just put in the Merfolk that does it, World Shaper. Because like you're just gonna sacrifice World Shaper to Baba's abilities, right? And then you don't need to spend 3 mana, or well, spend the Reclamation mana to cast it later. You just don't need to do that. You can just get around that whole thing. Mana Rocks, you don't do Mana Rocks, which is kind of okay. Patriarch's Seal to untap Baba, I feel like you don't really do that often. I think Sting Glittering Dagger is probably the best way to do that. Um, 1,000-year elixir. Liquid metal torque. You can turn things into artifact. That's good. You have the option of liquid metal coating as well, to turn things into artifacts. This is a weird one. I don't really know what to make of this one. No. Haywire might. See, like, this isn't a bad idea. Oh, okay. You could do... Here's like a repeatable one, right? So Pharika, God of Affliction, makes you enchantment creatures, right? I think it does make you exile target card from a graveyard. Its owner makes a 1/1 black and green snake enchantment creature token with death touch on the battlefield, right? So like you gotta get rid of your own thing, but you don't really seem to care too much about sacrificing your own stuff. I don't see a lot of Reanimator in here. I see like Phyrexian Reclamation and a Victimize and Urborg's Repossession, but like I don't see too much. Like if a Magus of the Library got to block a 10/10 without trample, Magus of the Library is already doing more than enough, and then you can exile it to get a enchantment creature. Man, this is a beginning of each player's upkeep destroys target non-artifact creature. You know that counts for you too, right? The beginning of each player's upkeep destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of their choice. I mean, that counts for you as well. I'm really lost with this deck because we're not hyper focusing on kind of like making sure that we we're not making sure that we get every single trigger off of Baba. If I were to go to Joey Schultz deck, Joey Schultz? Sure, Joey would have like an image, right? Maybe not. Schultz, you... No. Just at Joey. Cool. It's not Joey Wheeler, is it? No. Sure, it's just been kind of... Joey Top Decks. That's a funny name. I like that name. No. Yeah, I can't find their deck. I kind of wanted to be able to just point at, like, a very specific deck that I know definitely works and does the same thing, but it's definitely really weird. Freaky Pharika, love piloting her. Yo, yeah, she's a trip. She never got her due as one of the gods. She never got her due. I know having to exile your own creatures from your graveyard was kind of a weird thing to do in that environment. So it just did not work. This is a hard one to... Well, the Merfolk's a druid though. The Merfolk is a shaman. So we're kind of still actually... Ooh, okay, hold on. We can still actually fit this thing. So imagine, if you will, these witches, these druids, these, shamans are all worshippers of Pharika herself. Yeah? So that's why she's here, and then that's why there's all this like sacrificey life death stuff. And that's it. That's who they're praying to. So Eudora, Druid Garter, Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest land, so even when like you sacrifice your creatures, they can come back face down as a land to be another different card type for you to get back, or for you to sacrifice to Baba with, which is pretty great. I think that's super super worth it. Um, yeah, I think that's super worth it. You know, rolls. Rolls would be good. The like monster roll and everything as like an enchantment source. Is there like a repeatable white is there green black like roll giver in no. Uh uh roll token? What's the question? So hold on. Like look at so royal treatment, right? Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Create a royal roll token attached to that creature, right? So like the rolls, the from Eldraine, those are permanents that get to stay on your creature. So and those are like constant enchantments that you will always have to sacrifice to Baba. So Eudora creates a new type of face down outside of Morphingle. Yeah. Um, so I just want to see if there's more like this, which I think if I look at those and I see what makes it. Yeah, rolls could be fun here as long as it's something repeatable is the thing. That's all I need. It needs to be something that triggers. Oh, Gwaine casting there. Oh man, Gwaine would be hot in this deck if it was green white. White does it like repeatedly. Young hero. Well, it should be wicked. What's the wicked ones? Yeah, they'd be like wicked tokens. Wicked tokens actually is definitely what you want. Wicked? Is it just like wicked? Wicked roll or how are these spelled? This is royal / young hero. So royal / I think one chick makes that wicked and oh, not dead after all. Hold on, sorry, not dead after all. That does this. This makes the stupid thing. Wicked curse token. All right, so what makes that? Witch's mark. Asinine antics. That sounds like a. Not dead after all is good. Bloomburrow Revivalist. Dunburrow Revivalist. Transmuter. Twisted Sewer Witch. Well, that goes exactly with what we're trying to do here. Twisted Fealty. That's red. Witch's Vanity. That's red as well. Diminisher Witch. Spiteful Hexmage. Lord Skitter's Blessing. Shatter the Oath. Okay, let's see. That's red. That's blue. This is white. Concede the Witch. What is this? Create the world. Bah. Okay. I mean, this kind of sucks, but it's not great. This is a fucking alchemy card. Blue card. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black rogue creature with this can't block for each rat you control. Create a wicked roll attached to that rat. We don't really do rats in this deck, yeah? No, like not at all. No, we don't do a single other rat thing, so that doesn't fit. I had Baba Laga in your Onyxia deck, and she did a great job because I had a lot of sagas that ended up doubling as enchantment creatures. So I used Lasagna on them on the last chapter. Finally cut her though, as lots of good enchantments keep coming out. Oh my god, so many good enchantments, so many good sagas, talents. The talents are also really good. Do they added alchemy cards to the mystery booster and it's unicorn hopeful? Oh, thank goodness. Enters the battlefield, create a curse roll attached to the target creature you control. I mean, okay, maybe Spiteful Hexmage is a card that I suggest in here. Because it fits in with your theme. The requested theme of warlocks, I guess. Enter the battlefield, create a wicked roll token attached to creature at the beginning of your end step. If you control an enchanted creature, you lose 1 life. And you draw a card. Oh, that's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Oh, yeah, there's nothing that repeatedly gives wicked rolls. Like, you know, on upkeep or something like that, which is unfortunate. And even Lord Skitter doesn't even do it. Lord Skitter? He doesn't even do that shit, right? Whenever another rat enters the battlefield, you make more rats and blah, blah, blah. Rats. Okay, yeah, okay. So at the very least, we do have, like, that. Okay, sorry, this was, like, a little long-winded. This was a difficult one, actually. Because to fit the theme of just, like, druids and witches and spirits and shamans and all that stuff. And that we can do, but it typically will just mean that Baba just keeps on sacrificing creatures. There's 7 artifacts in here. There's 6 enchantments, 36 lands, which is like, that's not nothing, but you're not necessarily always getting those back. I don't quite get it. Because it seems like pure Nanbo to me. But I think we still, regardless, I still managed to find cards that would fit in this deck, even with the theme, which is the point of these deck reviews, right? The point of the deck reviews is to find more cards that fit the theme that you asked for. So, alright, so this is Shuffles' Baba Lysaga Night Witch deck. The focus is not specifically on triggering Baba, but it's about having witches and shamans and warlocks and just focusing on that theme. So with this, my first recommendation was Yidra, especially just like among newer cards that have come out. I think Yidra's outrageously necessary in this deck. Not just helpful, but necessary. Because Yigra will turn all of your creatures also into artifacts as well. So that's 2 permanent types just done. And he's an elemental cat. It's a familiar that a witch summoned. I don't know, whatever. It's a calamity beast. That sounds like something a witch would mess around with. So that does artifacts for you for all of your creatures. Now you just need 1 other permanent type in order to get there. And when creatures die, you know, or when food dies, there's just benefits for Yigra, which is great. The Merfolk Shaman here, you have Splendid Reclamation, so why not just have Splendid Reclamation that's a creature, right? That's all I mean, like, just have one that's a creature at the end of the day. The Spiteful Warlock, it's a warlock and it makes a roll token, so not only is it a creature that you can sacrifice, but also the roll token is a permanent. It's an enchantment permanent. So now you get 2 creature types for the price of 1. I tried to look up something that would, like, every upkeep or just like continuously make wicked rolls, and I just couldn't see it. White has creatures that definitely like make roll tokens like every time, but not here, not for black, sadly. And then Yigra, or Vidor, or whatever it's called. The next one will, when creatures you control die, they will go back to the battlefield as a land face down, right? So now you have another creature, another card type that you can sacrifice for the price of the one creature still, which is great. And also you get to tap the mana for things and all that stuff, which is fantastic. And yeah, return to the earth, return to death. It really fits the vibe theme, and it's a tree folk druid, which is definitely something that witches will be talking to. And then last but not least, Pharika, the god of poisons. Basically headcanon, all of these shamans and all these people are just praising Pharika at the end of the day. That's the god that the warlocks made a pact with and all this sort of stuff. You get to exile a creature from your graveyard to make a creature enchantment, or an enchantment creature, I should say. So now that's 2 more creature types solved for you, 2 more card types solved for you for the price of 1. So yeah, that's largely my suggestion here. This deck is definitely interesting because it's not focusing on specifically being able to trigger Baba as much as possible. It's focusing on the witchy theme, which, hey, you know what? As weird as it was, this was a very interesting challenge into, well, making sure that I'm able to find cards that fit the premise. So thank you very much for the challenge, and I believe I rose to that challenge. But thank you very much, Shuffles. All right, so we'll Shuffles. Your list ended at your review. Review ended at 2:46. Enter. And then that's done. We go there. Sketchopotamus. Okay. Sketchopotamus, I think yours is going to be the last one of the night. So yeah, we're going to do one more deck review because we've been live for about 2 hours, which is great. I think that this will bring us to 3. Nice weekend deck review. I got through at least 6, I think, which is not bad. Not bad. All right, yeah. Oh, must. Crash the blood braided. It's not blood braid elf. It's the blood braided elf. All right. Crush the blood braided. One of these. And crush. Although it's usually for Thrax and Mundar. Another Jund deck. Jund week over here. All right. Crush the blood braided. This is an oldie, but a goodie. All right. Let's dive into this. Sketchopotamus, Crush the blood braided. Their notes are, so they made this deck for their husband who loves this Crush card, got him a custom altar for Crush. He specifically said he wanted to have a deck where people could consider him the big bad evil guy. He has terrible card luck when it comes to card draw ramp, so there's an excess amount in here while still trying to fill the vibe. There's a couple of win cons in the deck with some setup. One being Essence Harvest and the other being Fling. We play it in a 3-person pod, actually. Okay, gotcha. We All Will Be One is also a huge game winner and problem card in the deck. Recently adding Lurking Predators. Yo, wow, yeah. And Villas while maintaining my mana curve. Hope it's an interesting deck to review. I think it will be. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, no, Lurking Predators will make most decks just that much spicier. All right. Let's do this last one and then we'll call it a night. So, Crush the blood braided. 2 Ent Jund, 3/3, legendary creature, human warrior. Whenever another creature dies, you may put X +1/+1 encounters on Crush the blood braided, where X is that creature's power. All right. That creature's power. I mean, that's huge, honestly. It's any other creature, right? Like, it's not just creatures you control. Just another creature dies, you may put X +1/+1 counters on Kresh the Bloodbraided, where X is that creature's power. You can do a lot in response to a board wipe. You can do a lot. Alright. So first up is Lolth, Spider Queen, 3 black, 4 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth, Spider Queen. Draw a card, lose a life. Make 2 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach. That's great. Get an emblem when combat damage is dealt by one of our creatures you control. That player lost life. If that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose equal to the difference. Yeah, sure. Alright, Adelan Jackal. I do like this card a lot. Yeah, haste, trample. Deals combat damage to a player. Search your library for a basic land. Put in the battlefield. Taps. Pass. Birds of Paradise. Braids Arisen Nightmare. Cankerbloom. Delighted Halfling. Disciple of Bolas. Yeah. Atali Primal Conqueror. This is of course, the double-sided one. Of course. Fell down to the 3rd path. So if there's a creature in your graveyard, make a token of it. It dies. You get more ++ encounters. Fleshbag Marauder. Yep. Like the clear upgrade right now from Fleshbag is the newer one. I'm not even gonna bring that one up. It's just the newer one that costs 2. It does the same thing. Foundation Breaker. Well, that's some sick art. Foundation Breaker enters the battlefield. You may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Oh, with Evoke. So 2 mana, bring this creature in, destroy an artifact or enchantment, sacrifice it. That's 2 right there. That's nice. Gleamcrawler. Okay, Gleam. At the beginning of your end step, return to your hand all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Wow. That's pretty cool, actually. Huh. Okay, yeah, so do a bunch of sacrifice. So whether you're sacrificing things to mana, or just flinging them at people, or if you just do a board wipe, and then you just play Gleamcrawler at the end of it, and then yeah, just put them all back. That's okay. That's very unique. Goblin and Archomancer. That's great. Goro, Disciple of Ryusei. Give your creatures haste. Yep. Harvester of Souls. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card. I do like the pseudo theme of this deck is that it's not just when my creatures die. Just as long as fighting is happening and someone is coming out the victor of that fight, I'm drawing cards. I'm gaining knowledge, whatever it is. Noble Hierarch, Lucian Caryatid, Indoraptor is John's. Yeah, I kept thinking that there's blue in that symbol. Bloodthirst. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield, it gets X +1/+1 counters, or X is the damage dealt to your opponent's this turn. Menace and Rage. When it's dealt damage, choose an opponent at random, deals damage equal to its power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. Yeah. Ingot Chewer. Destroy ETB, destroy target artifact with Evoke for red. That's great. Karna Charioteer. I was not prepared to seeing Kenra Charioteer. I'll be honest with you. Trample and other creatures you control have trample. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's other options, but Korvold, Faker's King, ETB, or attack, sacrifice another permanent. If you sacrifice a permanent with a +1/+1 counter on Korvold, then draw a card. Works hand in hand with the commander. Midnight Reaper. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you, and I draw a card. That's fine. Orthan, Hero of Lava Brink. 2 tap, make a token. That's a copy of another target creature you control. Sacrifice it at the end of the next end step. Activate as a sorcery. All those counters go on him. On Kresh. Paradise Druid, Plague Crafter, Rekindling Phoenix. So when it dies, you make a 0/1 red elemental creature token at the beginning of your that says at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature, return target card named Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield, gains haste until end of turn. So I mean, like it's a very, very, very slow but repeatable gaining of 4 power. And it's like once on your upkeep, which is not great. Soccer Tribe Elder, Savalha of the Wilds, Original Shieldred, okay. Shriekmaw, Solemn Simulacrum, Spite Bellows. Yeah, okay. Sure, yeah, evoke. Timeless Witness, Villa's Broker of Blood, Viscera Seer, Wistoria, or Wastora, Nakaru Queen, that's a cat dragon, Flying Trample. When she deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. If the player can't, you create a 3/3 black beast. Okay. Sure, yeah. And that's if they couldn't, right? If that player sacrifices a creature to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. If they can't, right? So they have to sacrifice a creature. So I've definitely seen Wistoria decks are trying to give her like double strike and everything. But this is an interesting one. I guess Kresh does get counters for it, so it's pretty cool. Yahenni, Undying Partisan, that's a sack outlet, and then Zeotora the Incinerator, a sack outlet at the end turn, but gives you 3 treasure tokens and deals damage equal to the card's cost, which is pretty strong. Pretty strong. Blasphemous Act. Kind of sucks that it's not a sacrifice, though. Oh no, it just dies, that's right. Blasphemous Act could literally just potentially not kill your commander if they're just that strong. Essence Harvest. Target player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. I think Essence Harvest is fantastic here. I think that's very, very strong. Yes. Life's Legacy. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to their power. Mandate of Abaddon. Choose target creature you control. Destroy all creatures with power less than that creature's power. Very, very good. I also play that. Entity Restoration. Fling. There's another Fling. There's a Molo Dual Face Fling. Heroic Intervention. Malakir Rebirth. Momentous Fall. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to its power. Gain life equals to its toughness. And then Undying Malice. There's gotta be better than this. Artifacts. Yeah, Arabesque's Forge is actually super good. Super good in this deck. Oh, wow, that's hugely good. Oh, wow, that's really good. Alright, Lightning Greaves. Your commander doesn't need to be targeted with its own ability, right? It does not. Okay, then sure. Resurrection Orb. Enchanted creature has, equipped a creature has lifelink. Whenever equipped a creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So that makes sense that that deck wants this a lot. Skull Clamp. Soul Ring. The Skullspore Nexus costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness each equal to the total power of those creatures. Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, that's huge. And then pay 2 double target creature's power until end of turn. Okay. Okay. Guess we'll die. All will be 1. Very good in this deck. Garruk's Uprising. Trample. Draw cards. Cool. Guardian Project. Draw cards. Lurking Predators. Get freeze cards. Rite of a Raging Storm. 5/1, trample at the beginning of subtract. Yep, that's smart. Roteer's Ascendancy. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you may return target creature card with mana, lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. Taps. This card's cracked, by the way. Riveteer's Ascendancy is actually grody. Then Sneak Attack, which lets you put a creature from your hand into the battlefield tapped with haste, and then you sacrifice it. It's very good. The Modal Dual Face Fling spell. What is that called? Um, actually, most of the modal dual face lands would work in here. Pinnacle Monk works if you want. I think I'm just gonna say like the MDFCs, just like in general, right? Like even Bridgeworks Battle, which is the green one, says like target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Or even like Revitalizing Repast, +1/+1 counter on target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. I mean, doing that in response to a board wipe, so that Crush becomes like outrageously omega strong. Kazul's Fury, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this recommendation is going to just be a recommendation of all of the MDFCs that fit this deck to begin with, right? Like they're gonna have to go through it, but these MDFCs absolutely like work for sure. Thank you, Fets. Yeah. They fit right in here. They could basically just kind of like go along with the land count that there's already in. There's a lot here. A lot of this I like. Yeah. What is... No, that doesn't do it. Soul's Fire. I also think that they should focus a little more on stuff like this. So like, yes, Fling is good, and there's basically like 3 different Fling effects, right? Like there's Fling itself, Kazul's Fury, which could be a land, and then Soul's Fire, right, which is just like target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any target, right? And I think that this is also like kind of super reasonable and makes people makes them kind of explore, okay, like what else? Thud, Soul Blast, exactly, right? This is going to represent all of those. And honestly, the Kazul's Fury might also kind of overlap it too. But yeah, just more Fling-esque abilities. Soul's Fire means that you don't even have to get rid of the card. Chandra's Ignition, it should be in here. In fact, you know what? Let me take Soul's Fire out and just do Chandra's Ignition, because like obviously Chandra's Ignition should be in here, and it's kind of strange that it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's a real good board wipe that, like, you know, target creature control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So not only are you going to savage your opponents by like a lot, right, but all of those creatures that die are going to make Kresh even stronger. So that is kind of a big deal, and I don't know why this card's not in here yet. But it's okay. We out here. Could do Mr. Orfeo. Yeah, even Disciple of Freylease would be kind of go real hard on this deck. Ooh. How about this one, chat? The Gitrog Ravenous Ride. Now read it. Just do a quick little read and tell me how utterly disgusting this is going to be. I know they said that they had their husband had issues with lands, right? Not anymore. You need help with Muldrotha, Savage Ghoul? Did you post it in the deck reviews? We will definitely get to it eventually. Yeah, I think the Gitrog Ravenous Ride here is a little busted. So 5 mana, 6/5 with Trample Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that's saddled this turn. If you do, draw X cards and put up to X lands from your hand, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. So this is like, you know, you get a couple counters on Crush the Bloodbraided, whatever, and then you play the Gitrog monster. crew saddle it with Crush, so then you're gonna have to recast Crush, sure, but you just drew equal to Crush's power and put that many lands into play. You're going to be able to recast him just fine. Ravenous Riot is not disgusting or busted. That is slander, so take it back. What do you mean? It's gross and it's fucked up and perverted, actually. So yeah, Gitrog Ravenous Riot I think is actually a really good spicy treat for this deck. Really good spicy treat. Cards like Corpshack Menace or the Snake Wire, whatever, or like the Shattered Spire, the oh wait a minute, ooze, the Ozolith. The Ozolith lets you Skullspore Nexus, by the way. Anything sacrifices leaves a creature behind. They have it. They have Skullspore in here. Right here. The what was I thinking of? I lost the track. Oh no, chat, I lost the track. Keep looking for other evoke creatures that fit into the deck. Like this card here. Spite Bellows. So it's, you know, evoke for 3, but it's a 6/1, right? So like evoke 3, when it leaves the battlefield, it deals 6 damage to target creature. You can kill a creature, and then that creature's power gets added to Crush, and then this card's power gets added to Crush too. So I would definitely like keep on looking at evoke creature thingy things. I think, is there like a I guess the Ozolith is probably like the last. Ozolith? Yeah, Ozolith. The Ozolith is probably like the last recommendation, and it like in terms of just like kind of an obvious one to put in here, but it's just like when Crush dies, you can just get everything right back, right? Like when Crush dies to some unfortunate accident, just you keep on going, you don't stop. And I think, yeah, having the Ozolith there to be able to kind of ensure that, or at the very least be like a lightning rod for removal. Because the thing is, like, you spent 1 mana to have insurance, and then, like, you know, you swung with Crush, blah blah blah, you got counters and everything, and then your opponents kill Crush. Okay, sure, everything Crush was doing, the +1/+1 counters go over to here, and then someone's just like, oh well, let's like get rid of that. It's like, okay, well, at the end of the day, you'd only cost me 1 mana, right? I wasn't banking on those +1/+1 counters. My deck doesn't fall apart just because I don't have access to them. I can start from ground zero, it's fine. But you spent 2 removal spells to get rid of something that only cost me 1, and it just helps me get back on my feet faster than I was already going to. But I'm still gonna I'm still Crush. I'm still gonna keep on swinging on in. So yeah, that is my last suggestion. Is the Ozolith. Just as insurance, you know, just as insurance that you could either use or not use. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, some of these sorceries and instants can definitely be done up a little bit. These enchantments are good. I don't really have an issue with any of those. But I would embrace the MDFCs and clean up some of these, like Kenra Charioteer. I don't dislike the card. It's just I don't see you necessarily needing it, but all right. Yeah, there we go. So for Sketchopotamus, mainly your husband, this was your Crush the Blood-Braided theme review. My main takeaways are my top 5 card recs are going to be Kazul's Fury and other such spells like it. They're basically fling style spells. You know, Kazul's Fury is just fling. It could also just be a land on the backside. There's also like Soul Burst and everything like that, which is just This creature just deals damage equal to its power to someone. You don't even have to sacrifice a creature, so look into that, because that one's instant speed. But yes, in general, Morphling style spells. Secondly, definitely like a single card recommendation, Chandra's Ignition, being able to deal damage to the whole board and each of your opponents, and each of those creatures that die make Crush even stronger, is just an opportunity you just can't pass up. The Uzalith, however it is, lets you, when Crush inevitably gets removed, the Ozolith allows you, or at least it just gives you the chance to like start off where you started, or start again where you ended, right? You don't have to go all the way down to 0 again with no counters. You just literally quick save back to where you were. And even if your opponents do destroy the Ozolith, I mean, it only costs you 1 mana, right? You weren't banking entirely on still having that stuff there. But definitely worth it. The Spite Bellows is another evoke card. I would just say, like, go back to like Scryfall and type in like evoke cards to look for even more of them, especially since they have made new ones in the past little while. But being able to go like, okay, 1 red, put this into play, deal 6 damage to someone's creature, that creature dies, Crush gets that many plus encounters, and then also my creature dies, and I get that, and then I get 6 plus encounters. That's very multi-purpose and very strong. Death Presence in a decent Uzalith alternative cellmate. Uzalith alternate instead of banking counters just grows individual targets are removed. True. My card store is down to Uzalith, and my girlfriend gave me a $100 gift card for him. Yo, that's crazy. Whoa, what? Trash lad, that's great. And then my last recommendation, sorry to get completely sidetracked there, is the Gitrog. Specifically the saddle one. So you'll see it when you look at this, but what you want to do is have Crush, some plus encounters on him, whatever, play the Gitrog, swing with the Gitrog, or saddle with your commander, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter how many counters are on, well, okay, don't have over 100 counters on him, of course, but even if there's a decent amount of counters on him, use him to crew the Gitrog. The Gitrog swings, deals damage, it has trample, it can do it. You're going to draw cards equal, and you sacrifice Crush. You draw cards equal to Crush's power, and then put X lands, so cards equal to Crush's power, into play. I don't even think you put them in the play tapped, but either way, so like not only do you get a huge new hand, but you also put in all the lands that you drew, which is really, really good. The description, it did say that you had like land troubles. Not anymore. Now that the Gitrog monster can just get out the gate and just start swinging. And also with the Kizil's Fury at the front, this is also just like a call to pay attention to the MDFCs, the Mono Dual Face lands. I know that you're using like Malakir Mire, which has Malakir Rebirth on the front, but especially the newer ones, the green newer one, the non-creature one, gives you +2/+2, allows you to fight another creature. That creature will probably die. You get those creatures plus encounters. And then hey, you sacrifice Crush and you do a bunch of things, whatever. Or on the backside, it's a green land that will come into play untapped if you pay 3 life, whatever, right? The green black spell one gives a creature a plus encounter and indestructible to end of turn, or it's a land. Why not? The Pinnacle Monk, the mono red creature, is a 2/2 with prowess, so it's not going to be that big, but still it's a 2/2 with prowess, and it gets a non-creature spell from your deck back to the top of it. So if you already flung or whatever, you get to fling another time. You get to Essence Harvest again. And then there's a couple more like that. Definitely give them a look. So they will come to play tapped, which is like unfortunate, but like Evolving Wilds can definitely be swapped out for one of those cards for sure. Yeah, same with the Cliffs and all, if I'm being honest with you. I don't like these lands in Commander. But yeah, that's like my... Oh no, you have Spite Bellows in here. I take that back. You have Spite Bellows in here. Okay, then all of the MDFCs I was talking about. Then Fine, if you want to be that way. Then it's the MDFCs I was talking about. Yeah, the flip lands are really good. And that is about it. I think, you know, here's my recommendation instead. Here's my recommendation instead. Which one was this? That was number 4. Not Spite Bellows, but alright, Mage Slayer. I actually really liked Mage Slayer. So Mage Slayer says when you attack, and it's funny because like this is Mage Slayer is from Jund, which is like the place where Kresh is from, so it's all within theme. But whenever a equipped creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Great, neat. Kresh just swings and just deals damage now. It doesn't even have to hit yet. Great, that's wonderful. Bounce lands are becoming a better thing as more MDFCs come out. True. Yeah, bounce lands will do it. Hey, Dag, just the cardboard. Good to see you, friend. But yeah, all right. Sketchopotamus, enjoy this with your husband. I hope that it's I'm sure that this will be a fun deck review thing to look through. This is a fun deck. Most you are in Jund, so because you have access to green, I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about your artifact ramp. Like I know Arcane Signet and Felwar Stone and Soul Ring. I mean, you know, keep a Soul Ring and everything, but more sorceries that just straight up like say go tutor up a land will I think do you a little good because you'll put them right into play instead of having to search for them all the time. I know that you said they have like just the worst luck when it comes to drawing lands and everything. Well, how about we just put the land into your hands directly, right? Or put it into play directly. You already have Entis Restoration as an instant. You can do a couple more sorceries that get you, you know, multi-land types and all that, like a Xeotor's Proving Ground immediately. But yeah, that is that's about it. Some of these cards I definitely would take out. I don't care for Rekindling Phoenix too much because it's like, you know, every one of your turns you get like 4 power, you know, whoop-de-doo. But I really like the Glean Crawler. I never really thought about this card, or at least I haven't for many years. But this is actually really funny if you do manage to be able to like sacrifice your board to Kresh and then swing and kill someone and then boom, Glean Crawler. Or Clawer brings it all back. So yeah, that's about it, Bucko. This deck is sweet. This deck is sweet, and I hope I can play it someday because that would actually be really cool. All right, chat. That's gonna be it for us tonight. That was 3 hours. That was 3 hours and 17 minutes of deck reviews. Yeah, I'd say we got a pretty decent amount of the way in. So today we did a Whatnot stream where we sold like $200 worth of Bloomburrow packs, which is fantastic. Thank you. And then now we've done a deck review stream. So I'd say that we've done quite a bit of good. Today, chat. All for the community, help people get an even better collection with Bloomburrow, as well as build even better decks. One of these days, chat, we will catch up to the deck reviews. And, you know, I honestly, at the pace that we're going, I think by the time Duskmourn comes out, we'll be caught up. And then deck reviews will be just like, you know, maybe even people who put decks in that night will be able to be reviewed in the same night. But once we catch up, we'll reconvene and look at all of that. But yeah, let's figure out where we're going to send you. I'm going to send y'all to Jamie Topples, maybe? Commander? No, that's it. I mean, this is a new face that I've never seen before. Maybe I want to go over there. Maybe I want to go over here. Maybe I want to go over here. Maybe perhaps where do we want to go? Yeah, let's go meet someone new. Let's get a new face in here. So we're going to go over. Sorry, I'm just like getting sunlocked here. We're gonna go meet a new face called the Nian Nian World, which, yep, I said that. I have revealed myself with how casually I said that and how well I pronounced it. So, well, that's embarrassing. Well, here we are. But yeah, Chad, thank you so much for hanging out. Really appreciate you. Big ol' heckin' hearts. I'll be on tomorrow. We're gonna do another Bloom Burrows stream where we're selling some more. You literally can't see it because the green screen took it out immediately. There we go. Nope, not working. Bloom Burrow collector boosters. Boom, right there. We have collector boosters and regular boosters. And so if you're trying to increase that collection, then I'm the place you want to go to. Be sure to join the Whatnot. And or just join the Discord and you'll have an alert to where I'll be at. All right. Just chat. Y'all heckin' fantastic. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And I need to figure out when we're going to have a Moxfield deck fixing stream, because a lot of my decks are out of date as far as Moxfield is concerned. So I got to do a big ol' re-up. All right. Bye, chat.